Welcome back, friends. Today I have for you 85 Dollar Tree DIY crafts you can do with your kids. And we're starting with a white craft paper and a pink craft paper. Then you're going to need two bowls, a smaller one and a larger one. You're also going to need an item that is round and smaller, like this tape. You're going to need scissors, a pencil, a permanent marker. You're also going to need any color marker that complements the color of your craft paper you chose. So whatever you want to use is up to you. I'm also going to use double-sided tape, but you can use glue. You can use even staples, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to trace the larger bowl onto the colorful craft paper. I chose this one because it has a beautiful pink pastel color. So now we're going to cut it off. And now, I have never met anyone that can cut a circle perfectly. So don't stress about it. Just stay within the line as best as you can and just cut. All right, so now we're going to trace the little bowl on the white craft paper. We're also going to trace two of the smaller round circular shapes. And then we're going to freehand one bunny's ear. The reason why we're freehanding only one is because then we're going to use that one to trace a second one. And that way they're going to be as close as possible to the same shape and size. And again, just have fun. Don't look for perfection when you are cutting. And then just cut the other three circles. Okay, so we're almost done cutting. Now on the larger white circle, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches from the bottom and trace a line. This is all going to make sense in just a little bit, but just do this for now. Now we're going to freehand a nice cute little pink nose for the bunny. I'm going to make it in kind of like a triangle shape, but with rounded edges. And then I'm going to fill it in. Now remember, you can use crayons, you can use paint, coloring pencils, whatever you have on hand. Now we're going to take the permanent marker. We're just going to make a nice cute little mouth, and we're just going to make some eyes and make her look like she's squinting. All right, so the two little circles, we're going to make kind of like parentheses shapes on the bottom of each one, okay? For the bunny ears, we're just going to fill in the middle portion, leaving about 1/2 inch on the edges, give or take. Then you're going to fill it in with whatever color you chose that complements the craft paper. All right, so now we're going to take the large circle. We're going to fold it in half, okay? Just fold it in half, nice and easy. And then we're going to start adding some tape. Again, I chose double-sided tape, but you can use glue or whatever you have on hand. Now, here's where that line makes sense. We're going to place some tape underneath that line. This is just going to give me kind of like where I wanted to place that bottom circle. And we're going to place it right there. Now we're going to place the little paws right in front, so we're going to add tape on that one as well and place one on each side underneath the face, right around there. And we're going to do the same thing with the second one. And then we're going to place the ears. How fun! So we're going to just add tape to the bottom of them and just place them where they're kind of even to each other, but again, doesn't have to be perfect. So place them right on top. Now I realized that I wanted the bunny to kind of sit straight. So I want to make a line on the bottom and just cut it straight. And this is going to keep her from rocking back and forth. To keep her from leaning forward, we're going to add a popsicle stick to the back. I'm just going to hot glue it, but you can also use regular glue if you want. But look how cute she is. I love this bunny, and how fun, how easy. What do you think? Let me know. You're need a dowel, 2 pieces of fabric, whatever style and color you want. We're going to need some ribbon, preferably the kind that you can curl with scissors. And we're also going to need scissors. Of course, you can use the kid-friendly one or the grown-up ones. We're going to start by cutting the dowel into 2 pieces that are 5 inches long. I'm going to use my miter shears. I do get these on Amazon, and I do have the link down below in the description box if you're interested. So once you have the 2 dowels to 5 inches long, or any size you want really, now you want to mark about 1 inch from one side, just like that. Then we're going to take one of the foam balls and we're going to insert it on the bottom all the way till it reaches that little line. You're going to see here just like that. You're going to remove the dowel and then you're going to add hot glue. Now you can use any glue. If you're going to use hot glue, grown-ups, do this part yourself, okay? Now you're going to insert the dowel right back in so that it hardens with the glue. We're going to do the same thing with the second one. Mark 1 inch from one end, insert it on the bottom of the foam ball, add some hot glue, and then insert the dowel once again. Put it to the side so that it can harden nicely. All right, now we're going to bring in the fabric. And mind you, you don't have to have fabric like this. It could be an old t-shirt, whatever you have, as long as it's cute and bright and festive. I'm going to cut off a piece that's about 6 or 7 inches in size. And I'm going to use that first one to cut a second one, and that way it'll match in size. All right, so now we're going to bring in the ribbon. Just cut off a piece that maybe about 24 to 36 inches long, give or take, and make sure you cut 2 pieces. Now we're going to put everything together. Place the foam ball right on top in the center, just like this. Bring 2 ends together opposite to each other and start scrunching in those sides little by little, holding it at the base of the foam ball where it meets the dowel. You're going to do that on the other side and just keep holding it. If you need to drop it and do it again, go for it. It's okay. Take your ribbon, wrap it around a couple of times, make a very simple knot, and now we want to curl. So take your scissors, open them up, and curl the ribbon. Grown-ups, this is for you. Make sure that you curl them for your kiddos and make sure that you curl both sides. If they're too long, just cut it off. Now I want to cut off the excess fabric, make it nice and flat. But you don't have to do this. You can leave it the way it was. We're going to do the same thing with the second one. Bring in those 2 ends. Start scrunching it towards the center, holding it at the base of the foam ball and the dowel. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Hold it tightly. Take the ribbon, wrap it around twice. Just tighten it as well as you can and make a very simple knot. For this one, I'm going to cut them just a little bit and carefully curl them just like that. We're going to cut off the excess fabric, and that's it, my friends. Look how cute these are. You can make as many as you want. Give it out to your friends, family. What do you think? Let me know down. Crafting using this candy jar. You can find them at Dollar Tree year-round. You just want to go to the party aisle, grab one of them. They're plastic, they're safe, and so versatile. I can't wait to show you what we're going to make. We're also going to grab one of these little pods that you can find this season at Dollar Tree. They come 4 in a pack, but we're just going to need one of them. We're also going to need paint in whatever color you want, a piece of fabric in whatever color you want and style. We're also going to use one of these little tiny foam balls from Dollar Tree. We're also going to use a plastic baggie or any plastic you have. And then we're going to use scissors, of course, hot glue, and we're also going to use candy. Oh my gosh, these are our favorite here at our home. All right, we're going to paint the little pot in this beautiful teal color. It's like a beautiful bright color. Perfect for summer or spring. While that's drying, we're going to start making a little candy topper for the candy jar. We're going to take one of the little foam balls and a little bit of the fabric. This is a scarf I had left over from another project. I'm going to wrap the little ball with it. Okay, don't worry about being completely attached because we're going to cover it with the plastic. So once you have it in place and you are wanting to hot glue, make sure that you help your kids with this one, okay? If you're using hot glue. Now we're going to open up the little baggie and we're going to use the plastic. If you have any other type of plastic, use that as long as it's clear. Cut off a piece as needed, and we're just going to wrap it around the ball just like this. Just scrunch it up in the center. Now take some ribbon. This is curling ribbon, but you can use any ribbon you want. You're going to tie it in a simple knot, and you're going to curl the ribbon. Now, this part also help your kiddos, okay, so that they can be safe, and make sure that you curl it with the direction that the ribbon is already curled. My daughter is helping with this one, by the way. We're going to cut off the excess plastic, fluff it as needed. Now, here's the jar. We're going to remove the top portion of the lid, just like that. Carefully, we're going to poke a hole on the bottom of the candy, not deep. We're going to add a little bit of hot glue to the little part that's sticking up in the top, and we're going to place it right on top. Again, help your kiddos with all these steps if they need the help. Now, we are going to remove all of the stickers from the jar. Now, this really came out really easy. You can add whatever you want to the jar, any decor, any stickers, but I thought I'd keep this one nice and clear. We're going to hot glue the jar right on top of the pot, and then you want to hold it until it hardens, okay? So just wait a few minutes. Now fill in with whatever favorite candy you have or you want in your family. Fill it all the way to the top, and then you want to place the lid right on top. How stinking cute is this? This will make a great gift for anyone I love the way it turned out, and use any colors. You can use the thinner ones, but this size work perfect for this project. We're also going to be using some paint. Whatever paint you have on hand is fine. We're going to use a white, a brown, a yellow, and a pink. We're also going to be using googly eyes. We love googly eyes for our little characters, and these are the tiny ones, but you can use bigger ones if you'd like. We are also going to use buttons, and if you do not have paint in all those colors, you can use markers as well. We're going to use scissors. You can use kid-friendly scissors as well, and these are just scrap papers. We're going to use in different colors like black, yellow, pink, and brown. We're going to use some glue. I'm going to use hot glue, but please use white glue if you'd like. We're going to paint the first popsicle stick in white. Very easy, very simple, and you can do 2 coats if you need to. For the second popsicle stick, we're going to use this cute pink. Now we want to make little animal sticks, so this pink is just nice for a pig, but use whatever shade of pink you want, okay? Or you have on hand. The third one is going to go in a brown. You can also use light brown if that's what you have. And then the fourth one is going to be yellow, but you can also use orange if you'd like, because this one's going to be a cute tiger. I can't wait to show you. All right, put those to the side, let them dry, and this is what they look like. We're going to start having some fun and adding some details. For the first one, we're going to create a cow. So we want to make cow spots, right? So we're just going to keep adding them from side to side. This one's going to go in the middle, and then a few ones in the bottom portion. Now do whatever size, however many you want, okay? Have fun. We're going to make little ears. Now I don't have black paper, so I'm just going to use a regular paper that I already had on hand, and I'm going to paint it black using my permanent marker. And once I had it nicely shaded black, we're going to cut them into tiny ears. These are going to look like little tiny water drops, okay? Now make him as big or as little as you want, okay? Have fun. Now, of course, he needs 2 ears, so we're going to cut a second one, and then we're going to hot glue them to the back of the top of the popsicle stick. So just add a little bit of glue in the back, and then you want to attach the ear to the sides and a little bit on the downward motion. You see that right there? How cute. All right, for the tiger, we're just going to use the permanent marker and create little tiny lines going from one side to the other. Now don't join them in the middle. Try to keep them separated. Just make small lines on each side, just like that, all the way to the top. For this one, we're going to create cute little triangle ears. So just cut 2 small triangles and then hot glue them just like we did with the cow. You add a little bit of glue, and then you want to attach them very carefully. For the third one here, the little piggy, we are going to create little tiny ears that are going to look like triangles, but they're going to be rounded on top. And the same thing, we're just going to hot glue them to the back, adding a little bit of dab, and then just placing them directly on top, towards the side, just like that. And if all you have is white glue on hand, you can definitely use that as well. For the final one, we're going to take the brown paper and we're going to create tall, pointy ears. And we're going to do the same thing. This one, we're going to hot glue directly on the top, right next to each other, just like you see here. This is going to be a horse. How cute. Now bring in the googly eyes. We're going to take 2 per each animal stick. We're going to make a little dab of glue. Now I'm using my tweezers because my nails don't let me grab them, but just go ahead and grab them with your fingers and place them right on top of each glue. And again, you can use white glue if you'd like. I'm going to repeat the process for all the animal sticks. All right, now we're going to add noses, okay? So I'm going to take this orange one and I'm just going to hot glue it right there on the tiger. I didn't have a yellow one. If you have yellow, please use that. If you have black, use that as well. Now for the horse, we're going to use a brown one and place it right there. So a little on the larger side, which I think is perfect. For the little piggy, we're going to use a pink one. It's a different shade of pink, but I think it adds so much character. And then for the cow, we're going to use this cute little beige one or light brown one. You can also use white or black, whatever you have. Hot gluing them in place took no time, but again, you can use regular glue. Now I'm going to take this thin pointed marker and we are going to make little tiny eyebrows. So I'm just going to round them off on the cow. We're going to make tiny ones in the little piggy. For the horse, we are going to make him kind of like he's confused. Just straight up in the air. And then little tiny baby ones high up in the tiger's forehead. Just like that. How cute. All right, so now we are going to make a little mouth for the tiger using the same marker. And look how cute these look. You can add whatever else you want. You can make little tails for them, but they're ready to have fun and a good time. Look how cute these look. Now, please let me know which one is your favorite. Which one are you going to give it a try?
Today we are using a paper towel roll that I had at home. We are going to use 2 types of yarn, a white and a blue one. 2 types of yellow paper, like an orangey and yellow one, but you can use one color if you'd like. A pencil, scissors. We're also going to be using 4 googly eyes. How fun. And either cotton or pillow stuffing, whatever you have at home. The first thing we want to do is mark 1-inch pieces, and we're going to cut 2 of them. We're just going to use my scissors, but if you need to use kid-friendly scissors, you can do that as well. Once I had the 2 pieces, they should be in similar size, but it really doesn't matter. Then we're going to bring in the first yarn. This is the white one. It's nice and fluffy. We're going to cut 20-inch pieces. Looking back, I'm okay to cut 16 inches, so keep that in mind. I'm going to cut several pieces. I'm going to start with a few and then cut more as needed. I'm going to fold it in half, and then the side that is looped, I'm just going to put it right inside the hole, and then we are going to thread the ends right through the loop, just like you see there. Once you have them looped, you just want to tighten as needed. You don't have to have it too tight, but just enough to secure it in place. And then we're just going to repeat the process until the entire piece is covered. Alright, so we placed the last one, and now you should have a piece that looks something like this. Now, we do want to place all these strands right through the center to the other side. So just start pushing them. Don't worry about them being nicely straight. We can do that once they're on the other side. Push them through, and then with your fingers, just kind of make sure that they're nicely straight. And then once you have them where you want them, this is where you want to bring in either your cotton balls or your pillow stuffing. We're just going to start pressing some inside the opening. You don't have to do this part. I like doing it because it creates a nice curve on the top portion when we're tying everything together, and it'll make sense. So now that we have everything stuffed in there, we're just going to grab another piece of yarn and then create a nice cute little hat style. It looks like a little winter hat. Now we're going to give it a haircut, and we're just going to cut off any excess strands that you do not want. You can do as little or as much as you want. It's up to you. And now we have a cute little winter hat looking piece. Look how cute. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with the blue yarn, and we are going to do that. How magical, huh? And then we are going to just thread all those pieces to the other side by pushing them in, just like we did with the white one. Once I have them where I want them, we're going to add more pillow stuffing. Again, you can use your cotton balls, and then we're going to tie it in the top with more yarn to create a cute little hat style. And then once again, we're just going to give it a haircut. We're just going to cut off any excess you may have. And now we have 2 cute little pieces. Oh my gosh. We're going to add the final touches. We're just going to add 2 googly eyes to the front. You can put them as together or as separate as you want. I'm using hot glue, but you can use any regular glue you have at home. I am now going to take the orange paper, and I am going to cut out a beak, which is just going to be in the shape of a triangle. We're going to hot glue it right there in the center, and look how cute it looks. We're going to do the same thing with the blue one, except we're going to take the yellow paper. Again, if you don't have different shades, that's okay. Use the same one. And we're just going to hot glue it right there. Look how stinking cute these look. What a fun craft you can do, and you can do as many as you want in any color you want. Let me know down in the comments
We're going to
what
start
you
with
think
some
of this.
white poster board. You can also use foam board if you have that on hand. I'm also going to be using a small bowl. Whatever circular shape item you have is fine. I'm going to take another circular object, but it has to be a little smaller than the first one, so keep that in mind. I'm also going to be using orange paper, but if you do not have paper, you can always use orange paint or markers. I'm going to also use some yellow fabric, but again, if you don't have fabric, you can always use yellow paint or yellow paper. I'm also going to be using a permanent marker and a pencil and also scissors, but you can use kid-friendly scissors if they're the ones going to be doing the cutting. I'm also going to be using some sort of glue or adhesive. You can use double-sided tape like this one. You can use hot glue or white glue. It depends on what materials you are using. I'm going to be using hot glue for most of the project. We're going to start with tracing half of the larger circular object into the white paper. Now, basically, you just want to trace the bottom half. That's it. We're creating the shape of an egg. I'm also going to be using then the second circular object and placing it right above, maybe about 3 inches above where the first half circle ended, and trace half of it again. I'm going to take my ruler and we're just going to join those two ends. We're just, again, creating the shape of an egg. If you can freehand it, go for it. Have fun. Now, these lines were a little too straight for me, so I did have to then take my pencil and just freehand the edges just a little bit more circular. But again, this is up to you. No need to do that. I am going to then cut it. Just basically take some scissors and cut. Don't look for perfection. It's not needed. Just do the best that you can. And now we are going to draw zigzag lines on the top 1/3 of the egg. So just kind of eye out about 1/3 from the top and make zigzag lines. We are going to cut this. This is what's going to make it look like the egg has been cracked and hatched by a cute little chick. Oh, I can't wait for you to see this. It's so adorable. All right, so we're just going to zigzag it and cut it. And now you're going to have 2 pieces. Now, I did erase some of those pencil lines that were left over just to clean it off a little bit. But look how cute that looks. All right, so now we are going to be making the actual chick. So take the smaller of the 2 circular objects and trace the whole thing and then cut it. This is what we're going to use to create the actual chick. If you have yellow paper, get yellow paper. If you have yellow paint, paint the white paper. In this case, I'm going to use some yellow fabric that I had on hand. I'm going to use hot glue, and once again, whatever material you're using, use whatever adhesive you need, whether it's double-sided tape or white glue. I'm going to use hot glue to attach it to the fabric. And as always, if you're using hot glue, be very careful because it gets really hot. So we're just going to tap it, let it harden and cool down as needed. Now, because I have fabric, I am going to cut it, and I am going to cut it leaving about 1/8 of an inch on the outside. I want it to look furry, kind of like feathery, and give it texture, so I don't looking for it to be flush to the paper. Now we're going to attach the egg. Now, here's the thing. I kind of noticed that the top was just a little too tall, so I'm going to cut off some of the top, just keeping that same circular motion and shape, but just making it a little smaller. Now we're going to attach everything. Again, I'm using hot glue, but use whatever glue or adhesive you need, and attach the bottom first. Then we are going to attach the top one the same exact way, leaving most of the little chick exposed because we want to give it a little face. We're going to start with this hole puncher. It's in the shape of a circle and some black paper. If you do not have black paper, use white and then use a Sharpie to color it in. I'm going to cut out 2 of the shapes. Now, these hole punchers come in a set of 6, and I do have it on my Amazon store, which is linked below if you want to check it out. We are making eyes for the chick. So now that we have these 2 black circles, I'm going to trace one of them twice onto white construction paper. And then we're just going to simply cut it, but we're going to cut it larger, okay? Again, we're leaving about maybe 1/8 of an inch on the outside of the line. I want the white circles to be larger than the black circles. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just do it the best that you can, and then do the same thing for the other eye. Now we're going to attach the eyes. We're going to attach the white circle first, and I'm going to do it towards the top, just lifting the eggshell just a little bit so I can fit it in there. I'm going to then attach the other one. We are then going to attach the black circle on top of the white circle towards the inside corner, leaving some white exposed on the other side, just like that. And again, we did it on the other side. Look how cute. All right, we're going to give it some details. So I'm just going to grab some white paint and a small brush and just add a cute little details. I'm going to make kind of like a little circle and then a tiny little dot next to it. And you're going to see what I'm doing. Do whatever you want. You can even skip this part if you'd like, but I think it really gives it some cute little eyes. I'm going to take the orange paper. We're going to create a beak. So we're going to cut a triangle. If you do not have orange paper, go ahead and do it on white paper and then color it orange. You can do that as well. Once I had it cut, we're just going to attach it right there to the center. Oh my gosh, how stinking cute. I love it. Here's the thing. I thought I was going to leave it just like this, No, I'm going to create little wings for it. I don't know what little wings look like in chicks, but I have an idea. I'm just going to make maybe like the shape of a leaf, something like that. Just go ahead and do that. And we are going to just cut it and use that first one to trace for a second one. That way they'll be shaped and sized similar. We are going to hot glue it to the yellow fabric, but if you used paint, go ahead and paint them. If you use yellow marker or crayons, go ahead and do that as well. I'm going to cut the fabric again, leaving about 1/8 of an inch on the outside edge. And then we are going to attach them to the back sides of the chick. Just going to add a little bit of hot glue, but use the glue that you used for the rest of the project. And then I'm going to attach the other one. Look how cute. This is one of my favorite Easter crafts. How adorable is this? I think this is such a fun craft to do this Easter season. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. Blue paper. This is construction paper. It's also some stock paper that I had on hand. We're going to use different color paper. Use whatever you have on hand. We're also going to be using some googly eyes, a straw, and I'll show you why we're using a straw in a little bit, some white paint, my scissors, some hot glue, but you can use white glue if what you have, some rhinestone stickers from the Dollar Tree, some beige paint. This is Sandstone by Waverly, brown paper as well. We're going to start by making some goldfishes. So I'm going to go real slow here so you can see. We're just going to make the shape of what it will look like a teardrop and then a triangle at the end, just like that. And we're going to make 4 of them. Now you can make as many as you want and you can make them in any color you want. Then we're just going to cut them using the scissors, and they don't have to be perfect, just the shape of cute little fishies. My daughter is helping me with this one, so you'll see her hands coming in and out. All right, so we are going to paint the bottom of the blue sheet in the beige color. This is going to mimic some sand because we are creating our own fish tank. We're just going to make little hills and just whatever you want. It does not matter. And then once we have it where we want it, we're just going to put it to the side, let it dry. In the meantime, we're going to add some googly eyes to the fishes. We're going to add some tiny ones to the little baby fishes and then work our way up into larger ones. And we're going to use some color ones as well, but use what you have at home. You can also draw them if you'd like. Now, once we have the fishes nicely ready, we are going to make a treasure chest. So we're going to use this brown paper and we're just going to make the shape of a treasure chest. Do whatever you feel you want to do. We're going to cut it. And then we're going to use my permanent marker and my ruler. We're just going to draw some lines to make it look a little bit more like a treasure chest. This is where we're going to bring in the rhinestone stickers from Dollar Tree. You can find these at the dollar store year round. And we're just going to use a couple of them. One, it's going to go right in the front. And then we're going to use some here in just a little bit. First, we're going to hot glue, or you can use white glue, the treasure chest right there at the bottom. And then add some more of those rhinestone stickers all around it like it has some treasures in it. All right, so now we're going to dry fit the little fishes kind of to see where we want them. And then we're going to hot glue them. My daughter is helping me. So we're just going to face some one way, face some the other way. And again, you can add sharks. You can add crabs. You can add whatever, seahorses, starfishes, whatever you want. All right, now we're going to make some bubbles. So we're going to place some paint on the cap of the white paint. And then we're going to dip the tip of one end of the straw. And then we're just going to place some bubbles everywhere. What a fun way. Now, if you have different size straws, even better. I only had this one, so we're just going to make it work. And then with the tip of one of my paint brushes, I'm just going to add some white dots here and there to mimic even smaller bubbles. Again, add as many or as little as you want. Now we're going to take some green construction paper from Dollar Tree and we are going to cut little tiny strips, and then we are going to make what will look like seaweed. So we're just going to hot glue it, or you can glue it at the bottom, twirl it around or curl it around, and then hot glue the top, cut off any excess. You can do as many as you want. We're just going to do different ones here and there and also in different sizes. Now that we have these in place, I am going to place some of these faux greenery, like little picks that I use for my other crafts for home decor. you don't have to do this, but if you do have them, go ahead and glue them it to wherever you want. You can also draw, use markers, paint to draw leaves, to draw more seaweed, whatever you want. So I'm just going to add some here and there. It's just going to make everything pop and really add that 3D look that I really love. So we're just going to add a couple extra little leaves here and there around the treasure chest just to kind of bring everything together. And that's it, my friends. Look how cute this is. What a fun craft. And again, you can add whatever you want to it. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments.
Piece of plain white copy paper, this beautiful teal yarn, as well as this multicolor one. We're going to use a pipe cleaner. We're also going to be using a brown marker as well as a brown coloring pencil, but you can use a crayon as well. Some hot glue. We're also going to be using a ruler and my scissors. We're going to begin by coloring the entire page using my coloring pencil, but again, you can use your brown crayon if you'd like. We don't need to do it heavy, we just want to do it lightly, coloring from the bottom to the top. Once that's colored in, you can then take your brown marker and your ruler and just start making diagonal lines, leaving about, about a half an inch in between, give or take. Now my marker was losing its ink, so I had to switch to my coloring pencil and it worked really well. So use whatever you have on hand. Then once we have all those lines all the way down, we're going to make opposite diagonal lines to create the shape of little tiny squares going sideways. Now we are going to roll the paper into a cone shape, and once you have it nicely pointed in the corner, just add a little bit of hot glue or whatever glue you have on hand and just tighten it, and then we're just going to cut off the excess on the top. I decided to then add an extra cone because I had excess paper, so we're going to do the same thing, making a smaller cone and cutting off the excess on top. This was just a bonus one. There we go. We have a larger one and a small one. We are now going to take this notepad. It's about 6 inches long and is perfect. We're going to start rolling it around several times. Now this is the yarn that I picked and the color that I chose, but you can choose any color you want. I'm going to roll around quite a few times and then grab an additional piece. We're going to remove it from the notepad, and then we're just going to tie it in the center with a simple knot. Essentially what we're creating is a large pom-pom. So once you tie it tightly in the center, we're just going to then cut off all the loops using my scissors. Then once I had all the loops cut off, we're just going to start giving it a haircut, and we're just going to remove any excess, creating a circle-like form. Once you have it in the shape you want, just add hot glue on the rim of your cone and then place the yarn ball right on top, just like that. I'm going to take this paint tray, it's about 4 inches long, and we're going to make a smaller yarn ball using this multicolor yarn. Same thing, I rolled it around several times, removed it, tied in the center, and then we're going to cut off open all the loops. And once again, we're going to shape it in a nice circle-like, and then once it's nicely cut and trimmed, we're going to hot glue it on top of the other yarn. I am now going to take the red pipe cleaner, and we are going to just start rolling it around in a little circle. We're just creating a little ball. This is what's going to look like a little cherry on top of the ice cream. If you have a red pom-pom, you can use that as well, but I wanted to show you an alternative. So we're just going to keep rolling it around until we have a cute little ball just like that. We're going to add a little hot glue and just hot glue it right on top. Look how cute. Oh my goodness. Now we're going to do the same exact thing with the smaller cone. Again, this was a bonus one. We're going to take some blue yarn, do the same steps, tie it in the center, cut it off, shape it into a ball, hot glue it to the cone right like that. We're going to take this red yarn. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to make a smaller little yarn ball, wrapping it around the paint tray, tie it in the center, again, opening all the loops. And then we are going to shape it into a nice ball, and then we're going to hot glue it on top of the blue yarn. Now for this one, instead of using a pipe cleaner, I am going to use a pom-pom that I got at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a yellow one, and we're just going to hot glue it on the top, just like that. Now, if you want to shape and cut off any excess yarn, you can do that at this point. Just do it as much or as little as you want. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. How fun is this craft? You can make as many as you want.
gift them to friends, and for a birthday party, we are crafting using clothespin, and we're starting with a small one and a large one. I get this at Dollar Tree, and they're so inexpensive. We're also going to use 2 wood beads on the smaller size. We're going to use some googly eyes in different sizes. We're also going to be using a pipe cleaner in a green tone, but you can use whatever color you want. And I'm also going to be using this green tone paint. I'll be using this fluffy yarn, black permanent marker, as well as glue. And I'm just going to use my hot glue, but you can use white glue as well. The first thing we want to do is we want to take this skewer stick and we want to cut it into 3, because today we don't have just 1 nor 2. We have 3 crafts for you. So we will cut the stick into 3 parts. Don't worry about them being perfect. It doesn't matter. We're going to attach the clothespin to it, and this is going to help us paint them without getting our fingers painted, and it's just so much easier to dry as well, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. We're going to paint them in the green, and we're going to try to do everywhere. I mean the inside, the outside, the sides, everywhere on both clothespin. But it doesn't have to be perfect, just do the best you can. Once they were ready, we are going to put them on this foam, and we're going to put it in front of a fan, and it's just going to dry. While they're drying, we're going to take the yarn and we're going to wrap it around 3 of my fingers. Just keep wrapping it around, and then we're going to take another piece of the yarn and we're going to tie it right in the center. Just like this, almost like if we were making a pom-pom. We're going to just tie it in a very simple knot, and this is going to be the goofy, wacky hair for our monsters. We're creating cute little monsters with our clothespin. We're going to do the same thing for the little baby clothespin. So we're going to do it with 2 fingers this time. We're going to wrap it around the middle and tie it in a simple knot. Now that our clothespin are dry, we are going to put the hair on them. So we're just going to clip it right there in the middle. Look how cute. All right, this is going to be a daddy and son set. So we are going to place the other one on the other one. There you go. Now we're going to bring in googly eyes. We're going to bring 2 per each, but we're going to hot glue them one on top of each other. We're going to do large ones on the large clothespin and the medium-sized ones on the small one. They are looking like the cutest little monsters. Now this part is optional, but I am adding a mouth with a permanent marker. They're going to look like they're smiling, happy monsters. Now we do want to add some cute little arms, so we're going to cut this green pipe cleaner and we're going to thread it through that little wired spring that each clothespin have. Then we are going to thread one of the wood beads on one of the sides, twist it around, and do the same thing on the other side. We're just creating little arms. It does not matter. Use your creativity. We're going to do the same thing with the little baby one, but we're not going to use the wood bits. We're just going to fold each side, twist it to themselves, and that way it's just going to look like daddy, but it's going to be a little bit different. We're twisting it, and then look how adorable these look. They are perfect. All right, before I show you the final result, we're going to go on to the second craft. Again, we're going to use a large and a small clothespin from Dollar Tree. We're going to use these colorful googly eyes, also from Dollar Tree, and we're going to use the yellow and the green paint from earlier, as well as a yellow pipe cleaner. We're going to use, again, one of those sticks that we cut earlier, place our clothespin right there, and then what we're going to do with this one is we are going to paint only one side, so one of the upper sides in the green, and the rest is going to be yellow. But do whatever color combination you want. You can do them in any color, in any style. It's up to you. We're going to place them right on the foam and let them dry. Once dry, we're going to bring them back in, and then we are going to take the googly eyes. We're going to take a large yellow one and a smaller yellow one, and we're just going to hot glue it to the top. You can also use black googly eyes if that's what you have. It's okay. We're going to take the pipe cleaner. We're going to fold it into 2/3, and we're going to cut it so that we have a 2/3 and a 1/3. The larger one we're going to fold, and we are going to create a circle. So we're just going to twist it in the ends, and then we're going to twist it in the center, creating like the shape of a number 8, just like that. Now we're going to add hot glue, open the clothespin, and we're going to add it right there, just like that. It's not going to go anywhere. We're going to do the same thing with a little tiny one. Close it up into a circle, then into an 8, add hot glue, and then place it right there in the opening. And again, you have a cute little set of mommy and me little bug monsters. How adorable. For craft number 3, we're going to take one of the larger clothespin, black cardstock paper, some more googly eyes. We're also going to use a white permanent marker, and we are going to start by placing them again on the stick. Again, it just makes it so much easier to paint. We're going to paint the entire thing black using this small little brush and Waverly Chalkman in the ink tone, but use any color you want. We are going to paint the entire thing once again, all of the sides, the insides, everywhere as best as we can. And then once we are ready, once again, we are going to place it on the foam and place it in front of the fan so it dries really fast. Once it was dry, we are going to take the paper stock and we are going to place it on the bottom center. And then we are going to create little bat wings. I'm going to do it really slow so you kind of see the shape that I'm doing. But do the best you can. We're just going to go up, then kind of circular down, and then we're just going to move it inwards in a little wiggly lines, just kind of like what a bat wing would look like. Then we are going to do the same thing on the other side. And now we're just going to cut it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the best you can. We will now add a little bit of glue right down the center of the wings, open the clothespin and close it right there. We want the little pointy parts to be facing upwards. All right, so now we're going to create little triangles for the ears. We're just going to create little bat ears, and we're going to hot glue 2 of them to the top of the bat. We're going to hot glue some googly eyes. These are smaller ones, and we're going to hot glue them right next to each other. So make sure you make space for both of them. Then we're going to make little fangs. Now I'm going to use my permanent marker, but you can use regular marker, crayons, coloring pencils, or even white cardstock paper. And that's how cute it's looking. And look at them. They're all friends now, and they just look so cute. Such happy little monsters. What do you think? Let me know down. This stack of construction paper is from Dollar Tree. They come 30 in a pack, different colors for $1.25. Great choice. All right, we're going to start with 2 green construction papers, 1 black one, 1 pink one, a yellow paper. Now this is not construction paper, but it's just a paper that I had on hand, and white paper. You can also use crayons and markers and paint if you want. We're going to use a bowl that is a kind of like a medium size, a tiny little circular object, and another circular object that's going to be in the middle of both circular objects. So you're going to have a large, a medium, and a small circular, just like that. We're going to use a stapler. We're also going to be using my scissors and a permanent marker. It could be black, and then a pencil as well. We're going to use double-sided tape, but you can use white glue if you have that on hand. And of course, we're going to use a ruler. So the first thing we want to do is we want to fold the paper. These are 12 inches long by 9 inches wide. We're going to remove 3 inches and keep 6 inches. And then we're going to take the larger bowl and trace half of it on the top of the green paper. Then we are going to make 3 inches lines on each side and cut it just the way you see it. So again, you want to have 3 inches on each side going up and sideways, and then the circular on top, just like that. Now we're going to take the remaining piece of green construction paper and take the small circular object, and we are going to trace 2 circles. These are going to be the eyes. We're going to create a little frog. Now, I think it also looks like a lizard. So you just do whatever you want, okay? We're going to call it whatever we want. All right, we're going to also do the same thing with the white paper and just cut off the white paper just a little smaller like you see right there. Because we want the white paper to be a little smaller than the green circles, okay? So we are going to have the 4 circles waiting there. Now we're going to trace the inside of my tape here because we want to create small black circles, okay? And in the next craft, I'm going to show you a trick that I have. All right, so now we're going to cut off an oval shape, and we're going to cut 2 of them. So we're just going to freehand one, and then we're going to fold it and cut them together, and that way they're going to be similar in shape and size. Now we're just cutting these circles and these shapes, and now we're going to put everything together. We're going to place the white paper on top of the green circle, and you see how you see that green outline? That's what we wanted. Then we're going to tape the black circle right on top, and we're creating eyes for a little animal. So we're going to do the same thing with the other eye, and we're going to make sure that the eyes are, or the black portion is kind of facing each other towards the center, just like that. I'm going to take my white permanent marker, and we're just going to make some little highlights just to give them a little dimension, just like that. All right, so now we are going to put the eyes on top of the green circle, and this is just going to look like little eyes popping out. How cute! All right, we're going to take the medium-sized circular object, and we are going to make a smile. So we're just going to make a nice little mouth right there, just half a circle. You see? Then we're going to take the pink ovals, and we're just going to tape them to each side of the mouth, and these are going to be cute little pink rosy cheeks. Once they are attached, then I want to add some freckles, some cute little freckles with my permanent marker. There is no right or wrong way to do it, just add as many as you want. Now for this next part, I am going to use my yellow paper, and we're just going to use half a circle. We're going to cut it and attach it to the bottom of our frog. This is optional, and you can also use marker, paint, crayons, whatever you have on hand, okay? So now that we are attaching it with tape, we're going to place it right there at the bottom, just like that. All right, so we are going to cut off another 3 inches, and this is going to be so that we can attach it to the back and create a hat, because we're creating cute little hats today. We're going to attach it to the one end using the stapler. You can also use tape, or you can use glue, but staples work really fast and really good. We're going to fold it around to the other side depending on the size you need. It all depends on what size of head you're going to use it on, and we're going to cut off the excess. And look how cute it looks. Oh my word, I love this. You can make any animal shape you want. What do you think? Now we have another cute little paper hat to show you. We're going to start with 2 pink construction papers, a black one. We're also going to be using the white regular copy paper. We're going to be using the double-sided tape, but again, you can use glue, scissors, and of course, we also want to use the stapler. Now we are going to also use our ruler, and we are going to mark 3 inches on this one as well. So we're going to do 3 inches and mark 3 inches, just like that. See, 3 inches on each side and 3 inches right there. Then we're going to mark 4 inches from that line up high and mark 2 inches. And then we're going to join together those sides. And everything's going to make sense in just a minute, okay? And then we're going to cut it. We're creating a crayon shape hat. This will be great for birthday parties. Here are the dimensions if you want to take a screenshot. So the paper is 12 inches, and then we're going to have 3 inches on one side, 3 inches on the top, 2 inches on the very top, and join those edges together, okay? All right, so now we are going to cut 2 strips. One's going to be 1 inch thick, the other one's going to be half an inch thick, and they are going to be the 12-inch length that the paper already has. And then we are going to attach it with the tape, but you can use glue, of course, and we're going to attach it to the very top right there where you see that. And then the next one, we're just going to attach it right underneath, and we're going to do it maybe about an inch underneath the black one. It does not matter. We're going to attach it right underneath it, just like that. This is going to give it that crayon look. Now we are going to cut off some eyes, just like we did earlier. This one, we're just going to do white and black circles. So we're going to do the white ones first. We're going to do 2 of them, and then we're going to do the inside black again. Now this is where I'm going to show you. Now you can do it this way and freehanded, but I also have these shape punchers that I got on Amazon, and I'm just going to punch 2 of them, and look how quickly this is, and those circles are perfect. Now they're a little smaller than the ones we cut, but that's okay. I do have this in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. It is linked down below in the description box. All right, so now we are going to attach everything together. We're going to place the white circles first, and then we're going to place the dark ones right inside. Again, putting them towards the inside of each eye, leaving a little bit of white showing. And then just like we did for the other frog hat, we are going to add some highlights with the white marker. You can use crayons or paint if you want. We're going to cut off another 3-inch piece. This is going to be so that we can make it a little larger to go around the head. And again, we're going to attach it with staples. We're going to go around to the other side, stapling it in place, and then cutting off any excess you may have. And then you have a cute little crayon hat. How adorable. And remember, you can use any colors you want. You can use multiple colors for a birthday party. It'll be perfect. What do you think? Let me know what you start with all of these pieces of scrap colored paper. These are the kind of projects that I love using. That's why I keep all these pieces of scrap paper. We're going to take 2 round objects. One is going to be a little larger than the other one. 2 markers, a black one and a pink one. We're also going to use Elmer's glue stick, my scissors, and we are going to be using a regular copy paper. And this puncher is the shape of a hole. You do not need to use this if you don't have one, but if you have one, it really does help. But you can also cut it as well. I'm going to cut off the shape of the larger round object. I'm just going to trace it on this bright stock paper. I get these on Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store, and it's always linked in the description box if you want to check it out. I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller round object. Trace it on yellow paper and then cut them off. So now we have a larger and a smaller circles, just like that. Love the colors too. All right, we're going to take this piece of scrap blue paper and we're going to cut off a larger triangle, and we're going to cut off a pink one, but it'll be a little smaller. We're going to attach the smaller triangle to the smaller circle. We're just going to add a little bit of glue and we're going to place it right there. We're going to make little fishes, and you have to see how adorable these are. Same thing with the larger one. We're just going to add it right there to the end. Now we're going to start hole punching some paper here, just 2 of them. We're going to start with one of them. We're going to remove it from the puncher, and then we're going to glue it onto the front of the larger fish, and this is going to be the eyeball. We're going to do the same thing with the smaller one. I contemplated making it smaller, but you know what? It worked out. It was a good size for both of them. And I am simply just going to glue it right there in the front. I am now going to take my black marker. You can use crayons or coloring pencil as well. And we're just going to make a smaller black circle right in the center of the white circle, just like that, to create what will look like eyes. Now we are going to start hole punching a ton of circles using different colors of paper. Again, this is where you want to just use all those pieces of scrap paper from other projects and just start cutting them out. And then once you have enough, you can always just remove them. And if you need more, that's okay. I actually needed to make a few extra ones, but that's fine. Once I had the circles, we are going to fold them in half, all of them, and then we're going to start gluing them with the glue stick on my fishes here. Now, these are going to be the fish scales. So we are going to put the flat side facing the front, making a straight line down the bottom. Then we're going to start in a color pattern, but you don't have to keep a pattern. Just do it to where all the colors are nicely evenly separated. And we're going to do it from the front to the back, overlapping them just a little bit. Look how adorable this is looking. Oh my word. Okay, so now we just want to add a cute little details with some black stripes right there on the tail, on the fin. There you go. Now we're going to take the pink marker and we're just going to make a cute little mouth on our fish. And then we're going to start doing the same thing on the little baby one. Again, we're just going to fold the circles and just start applying them one by one, leaving a straight line towards the front, overlapping each circle as needed, and just adding the glue stick. You can use a white glue as well if you do not have a glue stick. Again, we're going to just do from the front to the back, and once we have them attached, we're going to add the details on the tail, and then we are going to add the mouth on this beautiful little tiny baby fish. And look how adorable they look together. You can make as many as you want. These will look great if you put a ton of them on a white wall or on your bedroom wall. How fun would that be? Let me know what you think. Poster board from Dollar Tree in cups in this size. We're also going to use 2 round circle items, one bigger than the other. Make sure that the difference is pretty big. We're going to use some scrap pieces of paper as well as some brighter colors. Just make sure you have green and then some brighter colors. We're going to use this wooden flower from Dollar Tree, but you can also freehand a flower if you want. I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I'm also going to use my scissors, and we are going to use a pencil so we can trace. I'm also going to use a ribbon. I'm just going to grab any ribbon that complements the colors of the paper. This is leftover ribbon from Easter. I'm going to trace the larger round object on the poster board, and then we are going to trace the smaller one centered in the middle of it. This is why it needs to be a lot smaller, because we want to have between 3 to 4 inches in difference between. So we're going to trace that, and then we are just going to cut. We are making a fun paper wreath. Now on my other DIY channel, I have another crafting channel. It's called DIY Beauty on Purpose. I create wreaths all the time, but I gotta say, this is my first with paper. I'm so excited. All right, so we're just going to cut off the center of it. So basically, I just poked a hole and then just cut with my scissors. Now we're going to start tracing some flowers in the green paper. I'm going to use a total of 11 flowers in the green, and then we're going to make less amount in the other colors. I'm just going to trace a couple, and then I'm just going to fold the paper, and that way when I'm cutting, I can cut double the amount of flowers. Again, we're going to do a total of 11 green ones. And there you have it. We have 11 of them. We're going to put that to the side. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use this bright pink paper. Now, this paper is from Amazon. I buy it. It's stock paper, actually. The previous paper was construction paper. You can find that at Dollar Tree as well. So we are going to trace some yellow ones also, and we're just going to cut them again because we want to have some flowers on our wreath. Now, this next part is optional. I do want to have a circle middle portion, so I'm just going to use my hole puncher in this circle shape. And I'm just going to cut a few in the yellow and a few in a purple. And you can also paint or color in this on each flower. I ran out of two-sided tape, so we're just going to use some glue stick. All right, the goal here is to add the green flowers first. And we're just going to add it all the way around until the entire white ring is covered. And then we are going to add the flowers alternating in colors. And you can use as many flowers or as little amount of flowers as you want. I am now going to place the purple circles on the yellow flowers and the yellow circles on the pink flowers. And they look so stinking cute. We're going to flip it over and we're going to use the ribbon. We're just going to cut out a piece that's about maybe 20 inches wide. It doesn't matter, or long. We're going to fold it in half. Now I'm going to hot glue it in place, but you can staple it. You can also tape it in place. It's not a heavy piece, so use whatever you have on hand. Love the way this turned out. You can do this for spring, summer, Christmas, fall. Just change up the colors of the paper. Love it. Would love to know what you think of this leftover stock yellow paper. We're going to take two circular items. Just make sure one is larger than the other one. And we're also going to use these Dollar Tree pom-poms that you can find in their crafting aisle. You can also find them year-round, so grab them when you see them. We're also going to use some googly eyes, and we are going to use a permanent black marker. That's it. Of course, we're going to use scissors and glue. All right, so we are going to trace the larger circular object right on the paper, leaving enough space to be able to trace the other one. Now you're going to freehand what will look like maybe like a smile. I'm going really slow so you can kind of see the shape. We're just going to round the edges, bring it down in the center, and then up on the other side. Once we have that shape nicely drawn, we are going to erase whatever's left over, and then we are going to freehand some, well, will look like ears, but they're actually eyes because we're making a cute little snail. Now we are going to cut the entire thing. Once I cut it, I realized you can still see some of the pencil marks, so we're just going to erase them and just clean it up just a little bit. All right, so now we're going to take the other smaller round object. Now, I had to change mine because the cup was just a little too small. So I grabbed this cap and we're just going to trace it once again and then cut it all around. Doesn't have to be perfect. Trust me, we're going to cover it up. Now we're going to bring in the pom-poms. Now you can use regular glue if you want. I'm going to use my hot glue and I'm just going to start covering the entire circle using the pom-poms. The key is to just cover it up and make sure that you're overlapping the edges just a little bit. How fun is this? It's so fluffy. Look at that. I love it. And you can use anything. You can use buttons. You can use whatever you want. You see how it overlapped on the edges? That's what we want to look for. All right, so now we're going to add a little bit of hot glue to the upper portion of the tail and then hot glue it right on top. Just like that. It's looking like a snail. All right, now we're going to add googly eyes. So we're these large ones, and we're just going to hot glue them to the top of the eyes, one on each side. And then we want to make a cute little smiley face. We are going to use the permanent marker, but you can use crayons. You can also use coloring pencils, whatever you have on hand. And look how adorable it looks. Oh my word. So colorful, so fluffy. Love, love, love the way it turned out. Let me know what you think. We are using a pool noodle in a very different way. So just grab a pool noodle from the dollar store. We're also going to need a poster board, just a piece. Any piece is fine. A paper plate to put our paint on. We're going to use my scissors. We're also going to use a green marker. Any shade of green is fine, but I think the darker the better. And 6 different colors of paint. You choose whatever colors you want. You're also going to need any ribbon. Any ribbon is fine, just as long as it complements the design. And a serrated knife to cut foam. This one I got at the dollar store, and it worked great. All right, so first things first, we are going to cut the poster board in the size that we want. And then we're going to cut the pool noodle in slices of about 1 inch thick, give or take. We're going to do 6 of them, but you can do as many as you want. Using the serrated plastic knife is safe and is so effective, but you can also use a real serrated knife. Just be careful and make sure that you are the one using it and not your kiddos. All right, so now we are going to start cutting little triangles, but make sure that you do not cut all the way through to the middle circle. Just kind of stop halfway and then just tear it off. So just cut the shape of a triangle, just like you see me doing there. Once you reach it, then you just pull it off, just like that. But again, make sure that you do not cut all the way through to the circle. If you do, it's okay. Just cut off another piece of the pool noodle. We're going to do the same thing to all other 5 pieces. We're creating what will look like little flowers. And we are almost done cutting these. How adorable are these? I love that they all look similar, but really have different shapes because they're not going to be perfect. Look at that. How fun. All right, so now we're going to put that to the side and we're going to add color to the plate. Just some paint. Now, add whatever amount you want, but it doesn't have to be a lot because we're just going to add it to one side of the pool noodle pieces. So then grab a clean paintbrush and we're just going to start dabbing it on one side. Don't brush it, just dab it, okay? We want it to be nice and thick. So just cover the entire one side. And then once you have it covered, you want to use this piece as a stamp because we are creating a flower arrangement. This would be a great Mother's Day gift for mom or aunts or grandmas. So fun. Now don't throw away the pieces because we are going to use them. All right, so now we're moving on to the different colors. Grab a clean paintbrush for each color. If not, you can always wash them and then remove as much water as possible. And then start stamping it in kind of the design that you really want to see. It does not matter as long as it is towards the top of the poster board. So we are adding here the last one. How fun was that? Oh my goodness, I love using these. Okay, so we're going to put that to the side. Once it was dry, I'm just going to make a mark right there, right in the center of the bottom. And then we're going to make stems with the green marker. Now each stem is going to meet right there in that little dot that we just made, and I'll show you. So here's the first stem. We're just going to start drawing it right through that circle and then down. Same here. They're just going to meet right where that dot is, just right there. It'll all make sense in a minute. So we're going to keep adding stems to all of the flowers. If you run into another flower, just kind of stop, skip, and then continue just like I'm doing there. All right, so now we're going to take the dried pieces. These are already dry, and we're just going to hot glue them. I thought, why not? It's going to look so 3D, so full. I love it. I am using hot glue. Be careful if you're using hot glue. I think it is the best to glue the foam to the paper, but it does melt. So make sure you do that and not your little ones. So I'm just going to start hot gluing them in a place where it makes sense. You can also stamp more flowers if you'd rather do that. I'm going to add stems to the pieces that we just added. Look how cute this is looking. Oh my word. All right. We're going to make a bow. We're going to put all this together. We're going to take this ribbon. We're going to cut 3 pieces of 10-inch long. And then we're going to cut 1 extra one so that we can tie everything together. I'm going to show you how to make a very simple multiple loop bow. We're going to take each strip and we're going to loop it like an awareness ribbon. And then we're going to scrunch it in the middle, just like that. Do the same thing with the other one, scrunch it in the middle and put it behind the first one. And then with the third one, again, loop it, scrunch it, and place it behind. We're going to take the additional piece and we're just going to wrap it around the center and just tie it in a nice tight knot. And then you just kind of adjust as needed. And this is what we're going to do to hot glue right there in the center. That's why we needed all of them to meet right there. And it makes it look like the ribbon is tied around the stems. How fun. Cut off any excess and look how gorgeous this is. I love the way this turned out. You can add any message to it. Happy Mother's Day. I love you. Whatever you want. Let me know what you think down in the using these tumbling tower Jenga blocks. These are the Dollar Tree version of the Jenga blocks. I always like to put them in a basket because it keeps them contained. We're also going to use a few of these little blocks. They just came from a toy at Dollar Tree. We're also going to be using some wood beads and some googly eyes and whatever size you have. We're also going to use 2 paints. I chose these 2 because they're a little bit more than neutral, but have fun and choose whatever you want. We're going to use some paint brushes as well as some mosaic tiles that I got at Dollar Tree. Plus, these are complementing the 2 color paints that I got. I'm also going to use hot glue, but you can use wood glue or regular glue if you'd like. We are going to start with 4 of the blocks and we're going to join 2 and 2 together and then join those 2 with the other 2 so that we can stack them up and make it a little thicker, just like this. It does not matter if you use the darker or the lighter ones because we're going to paint them. We're going to do the same thing with another set of 4 and we are going to just hot glue them together. Then we're going to bring in the wooden blocks. Again, these were leftover from a game that we bought at Dollar Tree and I just wanted to keep them. I'm going to use 1 on each one. Now we're going to make little monsters with these. So we are going to do 1 vertically and 1 horizontally. For the horizontal one, we added 2 heads because why not? For the little feet, we're going to add 2 of these little wood beads to the vertical one. And then we are going to add 3 to the horizontal one. But remember, use your creativity. You can do whatever you want. We are going to then paint them. Again, I chose these little neutral colors. I love the blue and the light green that it has, but choose bright colors if you want. You can choose red, blue, green. The possibilities are endless. I gave these a couple of coats and I put them to the side to dry. Once they were nicely dry, it's time to start adding some googly eyes. These are a little on the larger side and I get these in a bundle at Dollar Tree. I'm going to put 1 on the 1-headed one and then some blue ones on the blue 2-headed ones because it just complements the design. But again, use whatever you have. We're going to use some of these mosaic tiles. Again, these complement the colors of each little monster very nicely. I'm going to hot glue on the vertical one, just vertically, 3 different shades of the greens and then 1 white one. And then on the blue one, we're going to add them horizontally. And again, just using the 3 shades that comes in the set. How cute! We're going to use some of these giant Chanel stems. I love these. I recently found these at Dollar Tree. We're going to use a green one and a blue one. We're going to cut them in half. Actually, we're going to cut them in 4s. But first, we're going to cut them in half. And we are going to use these to create little antennas for our little monsters as well as arms. For the first one, we're just going to kind of curl a little bit of the top one, leaving about maybe an inch, 2.5 right there. And we're going to hot glue them, making sure that the antennas are facing 1 to each side. How fun! For the remaining stem, we are going to cut it in half again, and we're going to zigzag the design on this one's arms. And then we are going to hot glue them to its back. Again, you can also staple them because they are made out of wood, but glue really works well. We're going to do something similar to the blue one, except we are going to make the little antennas just a little shorter. After we cut the stem in half, we're just going to roll it around like we did the first one, but we're going to do it a little further to the bottom. We're going to do the same thing to the second one, and again, we're going to hot glue them to the back of the heads, but this time we're going to do it kind of like sideways. I think it's fun. Again, use your imagination, have fun, whatever you want. For the arms, we're going to cut them in half once again. And then we are going to, instead of zigzagging them, we are going to roll it around in a pencil, just creating a little spring with them. And we are going to hot glue them to its back. And we are just about done. And how adorable are these little monsters? They are little friends right now. Love the color combinations. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the fun craft using paper roll. These are just ones that we have had here. We kind of keep them for crafts. We're also going to use this sticky sticker style glittery paper from Dollar Tree. If you don't have it, you can use regular construction paper or even paint. We're going to use ribbon. These are just 2 ribbon that complement the design very nicely, but use what you have at home. We're going to use these Dollar Tree letter stickers, as well as some regular stickers. They're just going to be fun ones here and there. Just pick whatever you have that you think will complement the design. We're also going to use my hot glue, and we are going to use my scissors. We're going to start with the pink paper, and we're just going to take the roll and just mark 3 areas going up the long ways. And then we're going to take my ruler, which we're going to use a ruler too. We're going to trace a line down those dots, and then we're going to cut. Once we have it cut, we are going to fold it in half, and we are going to cut right down that middle section. This is because one of these will cover both of the rolls if you cut them in half. We're going to remove the back just like a sticker, and we're going to place the roll, and we're just going to roll it around. Now, if it's a little uneven on the edges, you can trim it and cut it if you want. Mine was a little uneven. That's okay. We're going to cover it up anyways. We're going to do the same thing with the second roll. Remove the sticky part or the paper from the back, and we're going to cover up the roll just like you see me doing here. And again, you can trim, see like I'm doing, any excess, but again, we're going to cover that up so it won't matter. Here they are. We're going to do the same thing with the blue glittery paper. We're going to speed it up for you, but to review, we're going to mark, then we're going to make a line and cut down the center. Then we are going to fold it and cut it halfways. And then, of course, remove the back paper, reveal the sticky side, and cover each paper roll. Trim as needed, and then now you have 4 rolls that look just like this. How cute. We're going to take the ribbon that complement each color, and we are going to cover that top and bottom rim. This is why I said it doesn't matter if it's not even, because we're going to cover it up. We're going to add a dab of hot glue on one end and then wrap it around the top rim and cut off the excess after securing it with more hot glue. And of course, we're going to do the same thing on the bottom one. We're going to use the yellow on both the blue ones because that blue and yellow really look nice together. And then we're going to use the blue ribbon and place it on the pink paper because it complements it really well. And we're going to do the same thing. How adorable are these looking? Oh my word, look how cute. We're making fun play binoculars. So we're just going to add hot glue right down the center, and we are going to just attach them together. So make sure you add the glue where the paper kind of ends, where the flap is, and it'll make it so much easier. All right, so we're going to take the letters, and we're just going to spell. I'm going to spell my kid's name, one on each one, because why not, right? Here's the thing, though. The glittery paper was not helping out with these letters sticking. You're going to see me trying to attach them over and over again. I ended up having to take some Mod Podge, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. All right, we're going to move on to some stickers. So just take whatever you want. You can leave them like this. You can hand paint some hearts, some stars, whatever you want. I'm just going to keep adding stickers as I see fit and how I like the design. All right, so here's where I decided to just go ahead and add Mod Podge. So if I were you, and if you're using the glittery paper, just start using Mod Podge from the get because it is not sticking at all. So needless to say, the letters are not the best looking. It's not my best work, but it worked in the end because they loved it. All right, so now that it's drying, I'm just going to add one extra little butterfly there on top of the pink one. How cute. We're going to take more of the blue ribbon. We're just going to make a little handle, like something where they can hang it from their necks. And we're going to take the yellow ribbon and do the same thing on the other set of binoculars because it just needs it. And look how adorable these are. Oh my word, this will make such a fun craft to do in the summer, to look at birds, bugs, the sky, whatever you want. Let me know what you think fabric today. And we have these 2 rules, but you can use any Dollar Tree fabric or any fabric you have at home. It's totally fine. We're going to use 2 pieces of paper. I'm going to pick a green and a red just because it matches the design, but use whatever you have at home and some poster board as well. I'm going to use my scissors as well as a double-sided tape, or you can also use glue or a glue stick. I'm going to use my pencil and my glue gun. We are going to start with the red paper and we are going to mark 6 inches long ways, okay? So up on each side, making sure that we're cutting long ways. So 6 inches on each side, marking with the line and then just cutting. And then we are going to cut 1 inch off one side to make it exactly about 11 inches. We're going to do the same thing with the green paper. We're just going to mark 6 inches up, make a line, cut. And this one was already 11 inches, so we don't need to do anything. Now we're going to fold 3 inches in on one side, and then the other side just overlap 1 inch going on top of the other flap. Then using the double-sided tape, we're just going to glue to make a pocket. So add glue at the bottom and on one side, and then that way when you fold it, it's going to create a cute little pocket. You can also use, like I said earlier, glue stick or regular glue, but I find that the double-sided tape works really well. We are going to take the white poster board. We're going to mark 4.5 inches and cut, and then we're going to place that on top of the red envelope and just leaving 1/2 inch from the bottom. Then we're going to mark 1 inch on top from the envelope and make a cut. We should have 1/2 inch from the bottom and 1/2 inch on each side with about 1 inch left on the top, just like that. We are going to do the same exact thing with the green one, and we're just going to review. We are going to fold 3 inches and then fold the other side 1 inch overlapping on top using a 2-sided tape to secure and make it into an envelope. Then we're going to use the same poster board we cut earlier and we're going to trace it to make a second one. Now we're going to bring in the fabric rolls. These are from Dollar Tree, but again, you can use whatever you have at home. I'm just going to cut up a piece that's just going to be long enough to fit. And then we're going to iron it just a little bit because they were a little bit curled. This is like my little mini heat press that I use for crafting, but you can certainly use a regular iron if you'd like. I'm going to flip it upside down and we're just going to kind of freehand what will look like a little tie. I was recently on Pinterest and I saw this craft and I'm going to have it linked down below if you want to check it out. Oh my word, it was the cutest little Father's Day greeting card. And I just thought I can totally recreate that using very inexpensive items. So once I trace a little tie or the shape of a tie, we're just going to cut it. And then we are going to trace it on top of the other fabric so that way they're both about the same size. This is going to be cards that we're going to give my husband, my 2 kids. So I'm going to make 1 card for each kid to give him. We're going to use the double-sided tape and we're just going to glue the tie, the black and white one on top of the red, and then the other one on top of the green because it complements the design very, very nicely. Again, you can use regular glue or even Mod Podge for this part. How cute! All right, so once it's secure in place, we are going to take the white poster board. We're going to slide it right in, and you see we're going to have 1 inch on top. Then we're just going to make slits right where the envelope ends, all the way on each side until it kind of touches where the tie starts. And then we're going to fold at an angle. And then we're going to add a little bit of double-sided tape just to secure those flaps. And that way they're not going to go anywhere. And we're going to do it again on the red one to review it. How adorable is this? Oh my word. All right, so here we go again. We are going to take the white poster board. We're going to place it right inside. We're going to cut on each side just until it touches where the tie starts. Fold at an angle and add some double-sided tape or glue to secure it in place. And now you can open. You see that? How cute. And then of course you can add your personalized message right inside and then of course place it right inside the envelope. Adorable. I love this craft. What a great idea to make for Father's Day or even a birthday, graduation. The possibilities are endless. Let me know what you start with yellow stock paper. This is just part of a bundle of multicolor that I get on Amazon and also some construction paper. This is just leftover pieces of pink one, red, and black one as well. We're going to use a cup with a large side and a smaller side. We're going to use both ends. We're going to use some double-sided tape. We're also going to be using these hole punchers. These are shape ones. I love using these. I do have these in my Amazon store if you want to check them out. They are linked down in the description box. Love the shapes. We're also going to be using these popsicle sticks. They are multicolored, but you can use regular ones as well. I'm going to use my hot glue. I'm also going to be using my scissors. And we're going to get started. We are going to trace the larger portion of the larger side of the cup onto the yellow page. And I'm going to do as many as I can fit on it, which was a total of 5. Once I have them traced, then we're just going to cut them. As easy as that. Don't worry about it being a perfect circle. We're just having fun. It's about the process. So once I have them shaped into nice circles, then we're going to start creating, hear this, emojis. How cute is this? These could be emojis that you can share with your friends. You can also, I'll show you. But anyways, I am going to take the heart-shaped hole puncher and the red paper. And we're going to start punching 6 hearts. We're going to start getting things punched and ready, and then we're going to put things together. We're going to take the black paper. We're going to trace the smaller side of the cup, and we're just going to cut it out. And then we're going to take the same side of the cup and we're just going to trace it to create half a moon. So just kind of trace it like in the middle of the circle and then cut that off. We're creating a nice open smile. We're going to put everything together for the first emoji and we're going to use double-sided tape. I did use some glue stick as well because it seemed to work well for the smaller pieces. We're going to add a little smile there to the bottom and then we're going to take the hearts and we're going to add a little bit of that double-sided tape and we're going to place them right there. And this would be the cute little heart eyes emojis. How adorable is this? Oh my goodness. All right, moving on to the second one. We're going to take the leftover black piece of paper and we're going to cut out what will look like a little tiny smile. Now you can also use marker and you're going to see me here that instead of cutting paper, you can also use markers if you want. I am going to use the marker here to create some cute squinting eyes. How adorable is that? And then we're going to add some more hearts. This is going to be the one where it's just like multiple hearts around the emoji. How cute. And this is where I start using my glue stick because it just worked better. So adorable. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to put that one to the side. We're going to cut off another one of the smaller circles, cut it off, and then we are going to do the same thing we did earlier, and we're going to trace half a moon and cut it off. Just like that. We're going to attach this one once again to the bottom of the emoji. And then for this one, we're going to use the red paper again, but we're going to use this star cutout and we're going to glue those to the top. This will be the starred eye emoji. So easy and so fun. We're going to cut off 2 black circles with the hole punchers. We're going to cut one squinting and add the other one nicely circled. This will be the kiss emoji with a wink. You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to add some cute little eyebrows and then puckered lips and then a little heart right there. What a cute little kiss emoji. We're going to cut up another circle and then for this one we are going to again cut it off into a half moon and then we are going to attach it again to the bottom of the emoji circle using my glue stick. For this one, we are going to just make some squinting eyes. You know what I'm talking about. How cute. And we're going to use the pink paper to create a tongue. This is the one that has that tongue sticking out. We're going to cut it up. I'm going to make a little shadow with the pencil just to add that little center tongue portion. And then we're going to glue it right there to the inside of the mouth. Oh my word. These are adorable. Now you can leave them as is. You can put them on the popsicle sticks like I'm doing. I'm using hot glue. You can also use regular glue if you'd like. Or here's a fun thing. You can put magnets and you can put these on your refrigerator and you can leave little emoji notes for your family. How adorable. You can make the crying emoji. You can make the mad emoji. The possibilities are endless. You can have so much fun with this craft. Let me know what red and blue paper as well as some white vinyl. You can use white paper if you don't have the vinyl. We're going to use 2 paper rolls. These are just ones that we collect over the weeks. We're going to use 2-sided tape, but you can also use glue stick, and I'm also going to use a little bit of hot glue, and we're also going to use scissors. We're going to use a pencil as well as a ruler, and we're going to be using a hole puncher with the shape of a star. We're going to use some pipe cleaners. Now I have these jumbo ones that I get at Dollar Tree, but you can use regular ones as well. We're going to start with the red paper and we're just going to mark the length of the toilet paper roll along the long side. And then we're going to trace a line on those marks and then we're going to cut that. We're going to do the same thing on the blue paper. We're just going to use the one that we already cut, trace that one, and then cut it. Our goal is to cover the toilet paper rolls. If you don't have red or blue paper, you can always paint the rolls. That is definitely an option. I'm going to use hot glue because it just goes a little quicker, but you can also use glue stick, like I said, or double-sided tape. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side just to secure it in place and then cut off the excess. And then I want that to be flush, so I'm just going to add a little more hot glue and then make it nice and flush. I'm going to do the same thing with the red roll. All right, so we're going to grab the white vinyl. Again, I found this one at Dollar Tree, but you can also use regular white vinyl if you have it from somewhere else. I'm going to cut several strips. These are about 1/2 inch thick, give or take. And then I'm going to use the rest and I'm just going to punch some stars. This is going to be a little bit of a patriotic craft. We're going to start with the strips of white vinyl. We're just going to start adding the white stripes on the red roll. And we're going to do that all the way to the bottom, leaving the same thickness of red in between. I am not going to add the stars on the blue roll, and I'm just going to add them just here and there, just leaving enough space in between them, even if I have some left over. The goal is to have it covered as evenly as possible. And they are looking so cute. All right, so now we're going to move on to creating a cone-like to the top. Now, this is just going to be a little rockets we're going to create. So we're just going to shape each leftover piece of paper, and we're going to secure with hot glue and then cut off the bottom so that it's nice and flat. Once we have it flat, we are going to add it to the top of the red one. So the blue cone is going to go on the red roll, and the red cone is going to go on the blue roll. So I added a little bit of glue on the rim of the toilet paper roll, and then we added the cone. So here we are. We're just going to again fold this in the cone shape, secure with hot glue, cut flat the bottom. We're going to add glue to the rim of the toilet paper roll, and then we're going to place it right on top. So cute. All right, we're going to grab a blue, white, and red pipe cleaners. We're going to fold it in half, and then we are going to cut them in half again. So we're going to create fourths. This is because we're creating like a little rocket. So this is going to be little things that are going to be flying from the bottom of it. We're going to alternate the colors, and we're going to have 2 colors of each color. And then we are going to just hot glue them in place. But again, you can use tape also if you'd like. Now we're going to add these skewer sticks to the inside. Now make sure that the pointy part is on the inside so it's not going to prick anybody. I'm going to add hot glue, but again, you can use tape if you'd like. And I'm just going to hold it in place until it hardens. Now you can use these to play. You can use these to add to your flower arrangements. How adorable are these? I love the colors, love how festive they are, and how easy. Let's start with some pool noodles. These are from the Dollar Tree, but wherever you have it from, it's okay. We're going to use some of these jumbo pipe cleaners. If you have regular ones, you can use those as well. I'm going to use my wire cutters, but you can use scissors and some googly eyes. I'm also going to use my regular scissors, and we are going to use this foam knife. I get this at Dollar Tree, and also a screwdriver just to make and poke some holes. And I'm also going to use my hot glue gun. All right, so we are going to cut 1-inch pieces from one end of each pool noodle, but you can do as many as you want. Then we're going to make a dot just with a permanent marker, one on the side and one on the top. Now then, using the screwdriver, you want to poke a hole where you place those dots, but make sure you don't go through on the inside, okay? Just make sure you kind of leave it maybe halfway there. Same thing on the one on the top. I'm going to take this pink pipe cleaner and we're going to fold it in half and cut it. Then we're going to shape it like a heart. So we're just going to fold it and then shape it like that, just like a heart. The 2 ends just kind of join together, add a little bit of hot glue inside the hole, and then place it right there. We're creating some cute little fishes. These are adorable. For this next one, we're going to take the other half and we're going to cut it in half again and make a smaller little heart, just like that. How cute! And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to add it to the top with some hot glue. And be careful because the foam does melt and it gets hot. We're going to add googly eyes, one on each side, attaching them with a little bit of hot glue. And we got the cute little pink one all ready for swimming. All right, so this one is the same thing. We're just going to repeat the process. Cut the pipe cleaner, shape it in the shape of a heart. Make sure the ends are nicely snug together. And then add a dab of glue and add it to the back. Then take the other one that's left over, fold it, cut it in half, and make a cute little heart. And then do the same thing on the top of this one. We're going to add the googly eyes, one on each side, attaching it with a little bit of hot glue. And these are absolutely adorable. I would love to know what you think of this one. How fun, and you can make them in any color you want, and you can even make multiples of them. Let me know what you think of this one. But don't go away because we have another craft here for you. We're going to use the same two pool noodles. We are going to use a skewer stick. Now, these are those jumbo mega skewer sticks. I'm going to use 2 stock papers. These are in designs that complement the colors very nicely. We're going to use my scissors as well as the wire cutters once again. We are going to use a permanent marker, and we're also going to be using a screwdriver to poke some holes once again. I'm going to use a hole puncher. This is just to add the sails. We're going to create the little sailboats, and the foam knife once again. Now for this one, I don't know why I thought I would want to make them 2-inch thick, but I changed my mind, so I cut them in half, and we're just going to do the same thing we did earlier and have 1-inch pieces. We're going to make a dot wherever we want to poke the hole using the screwdriver. And again, make sure you don't go all the way through. Just go just halfway. Now we're going to create the sails for our sailboat, and we're just going to take the 2 stock papers, and we are going to mark at about 2.5 by about, I want to say it was like 4 inches or maybe 3.5 inches, just whatever height you want to make them. It's up to you. We're going to then cut it into a triangle. So I just found the middle of the top and then just angled cut those. And we're going to do the same thing on the other one, just so that they have different styles, but you can use the same paper if you want. You can also use white paper and add whatever design you want to it. We're going to poke a couple of holes on each sail, one at the bottom and one kind of like towards the middle, like upper part. You see that? Just leaving about maybe 2 inches in between. Same thing on the other one at the bottom and one on the top. Now we're going to mark 5 inches on the skewer stick, and we're going to use my wire cutters to cut them. And we're going to cut 2 of them. Now let's put everything together. We're going to add a little dab glue in the hole that we made, and we're going to add the skewer stick, hold it until it hardens, and do the same thing on the other one. Now we're going to place the sails, and you want to add it facing downward first, and then you want to flip it and then add the top one. You see that? It's just going to add that nice curve to it. We're going to do it again. We're going to add it facing downward and then flip it over, and then it's just adding right there. This is just going to add that nice sail look. You can actually float these. How fun are these? I love the colors that we use, but again, use whatever colors you have. Let me know what you think. With a fuzzy sock from Dollar Tree. You can find these there year round. We're also going to be using some rice. You may also be able to use flour, but I'm not sure if it's going to seep through. We're also going to be using some rubber bands from Dollar Tree, some googly eyes, whatever you have, whatever style, color is fine. And we're going to get started. My daughter's going to be helping me today. So the first thing you want to do is you want to open up the sock all the way to the bottom and pour some rice. The bottom is going to be what will be the head of a caterpillar or worm, whatever we want to call it. So we want to make that a little larger than the rest. Once you have enough in there, grab the rubber band and just tighten it around very tightly until it's secure. Then you want to repeat the process, but the remaining sections are going to be a little smaller than the head. And there you have it. It took a little bit of time, but not too much. And having my daughter help was really helpful. There we go. So we're going to add some googly eyes. We're going to take the larger one just because it fits really well, but use whatever you have. You can also draw the eyes. My daughter's helping me. We're just going to add it with a little bit of hot glue and carefully attaching one to each side. And once they're attached, that's it, my friends. So easy. We're going to start playing with it. How fun. I love all the movements that it can do because of all the sections it has. My daughter loved it, as you can see. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. And we have another craft here for you. Don't go anywhere. We're going to use different color construction paper. Use whatever design and color you want. Now this one I'm going to use, it's a little bit more of a cardstock, but you can use construction paper if you want. This printout I got online, and I do have a copy of it in a link down below in the description box if you want to use this exact same printout, or you can just find one that looks similar to this one. I'm going to use a ruler to be able to make some cuts, as well as my scissors, googly eye as well as my X-Acto knife, but you can use your scissors for that step. If you do not feel safe using an X-Acto knife, I'm going to use a pencil, a glue stick. We're also going to use masking tape from Dollar Tree and carbon paper as well as the tracing tool that comes with it. And I do have this in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. It is linked down below as well. We're going to place the printout right on top of the colorful paper that I chose to be my base color. We're going to tape the top and we're going to place the carbon paper right in between with the darkest side facing downward. Using the tracing tool, I'm going to trace the outside of the bird. I'm not going to do the legs, although you can keep them if you want. I'm also going to trace the portion that's around the eye right there, just the one that's around the eye. That's it. All the other details we do not need unless you want to. I'll remove the printout and then I'm just going to cut out the bird. So that was simple enough. Now we have a silhouette of a bird. We're going to trace that eye portion again. This time we're going to trace it on some pink construction paper. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to place the carbon paper, the design on top, and just trace that one portion, and then we're just going to cut it out. And now we're going to cut some strips of paper. We're going to cut 2 from each color paper. One's going to be this size. It's about 1/4 inch thick. And the other one's going to be about 1 inch thick. So you're going to have 2 of each color, a thin one and a thicker one. So we're going to do the blue and then the green and so on and so forth. Now I ended up not using the blue construction paper. I don't know why. I could have. I just missed it. But of course, use whatever colors you want. I did the same thing to all of the color construction paper. And then we're going to cut each of the thin strips directly in half. And then with the thicker ones, we're going to stack them together and we're going to cut probably a little bit more than halfway. So maybe about a 1/3 to a third, something like that. We're going to add the pink portion right onto the eye area and we're going to use the glue stick and we're just going to place it right there. We'll place the googly eye here in just a minute. We're going to flip it over and on the back of the bird, we're going to draw a square. You can make it as big or as small as you want. And we're going to then start making some horizontal lines that are about 1/4 inch thick. You want to have a total of 9 lines, including the bottom and the top line. Now I am going to use my X-Acto knife because it is so much cleaner to make these cuts. But let me show you how to make one cut with my scissors. Now my scissors are a little too thick, so it did make some dents that I didn't like. But just for purposes of showing you how to use your scissors, you just want to fold it, make a slit, and then just cut one side to the other. And you do that over and over again until you have all 9 lines cut. But again, using the X-Acto knife is so much smoother and cleaner. So I'm just going to slit all those lines from the top to the bottom. Again, a total of 9 lines. I can't say it enough. Just be very careful. X-Acto knives are very sharp and you just want to make sure that the adult is doing this. This is what it should look like. Now I am going to start threading the small pieces or the thin pieces of paper, starting from the back to the front, back to the back. So just threading it in and out through each little slit. Now we want to make sure that each time you're starting and finishing, it's starting on the back of the bird. We don't want to see the end. See right there? It's starting and finishing in the end. We're going to push that first one all the way to the one side. Cut off any excess. I'm going to take the next color and start threading in. Now for the second one, I'm going to start in a different thread. So instead of the bottom line or slit, I'm just going to start on the second. And then when I get to the third one, I'm going to start back where I started in the beginning. We just want to have them threading in and out in different parts. I hope that makes sense. And I did the same thing over and over again. And I used pink again. Again, I'm not sure why I skipped the blue, but just use all the colors you have. So there we have it. All the strips are threaded. We're just going to trim them off. And look how all of them started and finished on the back of the bird. So now we're going to take some masking tape. We're just going to secure those ends, both the top and the bottom. That way it's not going to go anywhere. Now we want to add some feathers to the bottom of the bird. Now you can use the glue stick. I'm going to use my hot glue because it does dry quicker and it's just for the purposes of the video. But you can use a glue stick if you want. I'm going to start with the longer strips and I'm just going to start stacking them one next to each other and they're going to overlap a little bit over each other. And then I'm going to place the shorter ones right on top, making sure that the colors are alternating in a nice pattern. Again, the top one is also going to overlap each other just a little bit. And it's going to look something like this. Shorter ones on top of the longer ones. Now we're going to use my pencil and we're going to curl these. They're going to look like nice, beautiful, colorful feathers. So we're just going to curl going upwards, but we're only going to do a little bit, maybe about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And then when you let it go, it keeps that nice curl. I love it. I'm going to do the same thing on all the strips, the short and the long ones. How adorable is this looking? Oh my word. Now looking back, I wish I would have kept the legs on him. It doesn't have legs, but it's okay. It's still cute. I'm going to take the large googly eye and I'm just going to place it right there in the pink area towards the front. You pick and choose wherever you want. And we are all done with this bird. You can add as many details as you want. Oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. How adorable, colorful, beautiful is this bird? Let me know what you think. Popsicle sticks from Dollar Tree, as well as a piece of cardboard. It could be any cardboard. In my opinion, the thinner, the better. We're also going to be using 2 different types of paint, just in whatever color you want. We chose blue and yellow. We need paintbrushes. We also need a permanent marker. I later changed my mind to black paper. We're also going to be using hot glue, as well as a printout of whatever picture you want. The craft really calls for a picture, like a back to school picture, but just for purposes of having a photo here, we're going to use these 2 printouts. We're going to make sure that our photos are actually about 1/2 inch on each side, smaller than the popsicle stick. So just make sure you trim it depending on what size popsicle stick you have. We're going to start lining them up, just stack them one underneath the other, making sure that the picture is going to fit in it nicely and straight. I'm going to use the side of my ruler just to kind of keep it straight on the edges, as well as my daughter. And then we're going to attach them all using more popsicle sticks and hot glue. We're just going to start attaching them with vertical sticks just to make sure all of them are attached and not going anywhere. And this is kind of what it should look like so far. So cute. All right, so before we move on, we have to cut a piece of the cardboard because we are making a picture frame with the shape and look of a crayon. So we want to make what will look like a little triangle. Just kind of measure whatever popsicle sticks you have and just keep cutting as needed. And make sure that the top is squared off just like that, just flat. I'm going to use the first one as a guide and then cut a second one so my daughter can use that one. We are going to attach them using more popsicle sticks, so we're just going to hot glue them. Now, I made mine a little too big, too long, I guess, and I just had to trim it. But no big deal. I used my wire cutters and trimmed it. My daughter did much better job than I did. We used smaller ones for her, and they look absolutely great. I love them. So it's time to paint. Again, choose any color you want. These are crayons. You can use white, black, red, green. It doesn't matter. We're just going to give it one coat as best as we can, and we're painting the entire thing. Once dry, this is where I changed my mind. Instead of using black marker, I'm just going to use black paper, but you can use marker or paint as you want. We're going to add a strip to the top as well as the bottom, and the strips are about 1 inch thick. I'm going to use hot glue, but you can certainly use regular white glue or a glue stick. Once we had them attached at the top at the bottom, we want to add a little wiggly line, kind of like to mimic what a real crayon will look like. So I'm going to use my paint markers in the yellow and the blue tone, and we're just going to add the lines right there in the center of the black strip. Now it's time to add the photos. I'm going to trim mine a little bit, add 2-sided tape to the back, and then we're just going to attach it right there in the center. Now we want these picture frames to stand, so we're going to add a couple of these wood blocks from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue them to the bottom, and that way we can stand the picture frames, and they're going to be beautiful to display all year round. And look how stunning these look. How fun is this craft? You can do this with your kiddos, nice and safe. Love the colors. We're going to start with different papers. We're going to start with a yellow, white, pink, black, and then this natural color one. This is just one of those craft paper ones that you can find in a roll or even in packages. We're also going to be needing a ruler, specifically one that has like the thicker side, and then my scissors as well as some double-sided tape, or you can use glue stick as well, and some packaging tape. We're also going to use a gray marker. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet, so I'm going to try these and see which one I like more. I'm also going to use my permanent black marker. All right, the first thing I want to do is I want to just draw a line and make a line straight in the thickest part of the ruler. So just like this, just in the thickest part of the ruler. And then we're going to cut that out, and then we are going to cut out 1 inch of the pink paper in the same thickness of the ruler, and then 1/2 inch of the white paper in the same thickness of the ruler, and just cut those out. We're going to cut out a 2-inch piece of the craft paper one, again in the same thickness of the ruler. And now we're going to put everything together. I'm going to start by attaching the pink paper first, and then we're going to try out all my gray markers because I wasn't sure which one was going to work for best. And then it ended up being this one side of this one. It just looked metallic and it was perfect. I'm going to take the white little piece of paper and I'm just going to color the entire thing in this gray metallic silver. Then I am going to attach it right there on top of the pink paper. I think you see where we're going with this, right? We're making a pencil bookmark. I cut off the entire piece to be about 8 inches long, and then I'm going to zigzag cut one side of the craft paper and attach it to the front, just like this. I am going to mark the middle of the top, and then I am going to cut in a triangle. I'm just going to V-cut that top portion, giving it that pencil look. Now, instead of using the black paper, I changed my mind. I'm just going to use my black marker and color in the lead portion of the pencil. Now I'm going to write my daughter's name here because I'm going to give this one to her. And then we're going to use the packaging tape to basically laminate the pencil. Now you can use a laminator, which I do have, but I figured I'd show you how to do it with the tape because it's so much easier if you don't have one. I'm going to do the front and the back of the pencil and then attach it and nicely make sure that it's stuck together. Then I'm going to cut off the excess tape, leaving about the same size on each side. And that's how cute it looks, but I have another craft, so I'll show you the ending here, what they both look like. We're going to take some blue paper as well as a blue marker, a black marker, and my ruler. And of course, we're going to use scissors and also my pencil, and then of course, the packaging tape. We're going to create another bookmark, but this time it's going to be in the shape and design of a crayon. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut the same thickness of the ruler, and I am going to cut it in about 7-inch long. And then it's time to start using the permanent marker. We're just going to use it here at the end and make maybe about a 1/2 inch thick line. And then I'm going to make a few lines here. I'm going to mark about 1.5 inches and then ever so lightly on top of it. Then we're going to cut tiny little bit on the bottom line, and then we are going to cut it in a V shape after we mark where the center is. Now this time, instead of making it pointy, we're going to make it a little flat. And this is what it should look like. See right there, I have those 2 little sides, and then you want the flat top, just like that. Then I'm going to use my ruler to kind of guide me. We're just going to color that top portion. Again, we're creating a crayon. Now you can do this in any color you want. I'm going to use the black permanent marker to create the wiggly lines, 2 on the top and 2 at the bottom. And for this one, I'm going to gift it to my son, so I'm just going to write his name right here. And then we want to do the same exact thing we did earlier with the pencil, and we're going to cover it with packaging tape. Place it as center as possible, the front, and then again on the back, making sure the entire thing is covered and nicely stuck together. And then you just want to cut off the excess, leaving the same amount of plastic tape on each side. And this is what they both look like. So adorable. How fun is this craft? Let me know what you think or which one you would want to try. We're going to start with these wooden apples you can find at Dollar Tree, as well as some popsicle sticks and some burlap ribbon. We're also going to be using some paint. We're going to use brown, red, and green. I also added a different tone of green, and I'll show you in a little bit. Some raffia ribbon, but you can use any ribbon you have at home. Some paint brushes, of course, and 2 of these tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, as well as some hot glue. I also added some Mod Podge. We're going to start with an apple each. My daughter is going to be helping me. And we're going to start painting most of it brown. We just want to add the brown, leaving just a little bit of the top as well as the leafy part. We don't need to do that because we are going to be painting that top one. These are going to be caramel apples that your kiddos can bring back to school for a teacher's gift. Once dry, we are going to kind of wiggle a line where we want to paint. Now, my daughter's going to be doing the red apple, and I'm going to do it a green apple. We're just going to keep in that line, but again, you don't have to trace it. You can always just paint it, and that's fine. I'm going to make it nice and wiggly at the bottom there, and that way it's just going to look like the caramel was dripping. We're going to leave the little leaf bare because we are going to be painting that in a brighter green. Now, this brighter green is beautiful for these leaves, but again, use whatever you have at home. It's okay. You can also use markers if you have that. Once everything's dry, we are going to take a piece of the burlap ribbon. We're going to cut in a wiggly line the one side. This is going to allow it to look like the peanuts on the caramel apple. Once cut, we're going to add some Mod Podge to the bottom, spread it nice and even, and then we're going to apply the burlap ribbon and cut off the excess. Now it's time to attach the stick, and we're just going to use these popsicle sticks and attach it to the back with some hot glue. Of course, be very careful and help your kiddos as needed. Now we're going to add raffia ribbon to each apple. I decided to add mine on top of the little hole on the apple, and my daughter decided to add hers to the actual stick. We just looped it, scrunched it in the middle, tie it around with more of the ribbon, cut off the excess, and then we're going to hot glue it in place. Now we want these apples to be able to stand up straight, so we're going to use the tumbling tower block, and we're going to hot glue it right there on the back, on the bottom, and this is just going to give it something to lean against. And that way, when you gift it, the teacher can keep it on her desk in a nice standing upward motion. And I love the way this one turned out. You can add their name right on it. So adorable and such an easy craft. Your kiddos will love making this one with two of these plastic containers. One of them has a mason jar style. I got at Dollar Tree. I love that it's plastic and you can still make that mason jar look crafts for kids. This one is a little jar that I have of buttons and it's empty now, so we're going to use it. We're also going to use some paint in the orange, yellow, and green tones. We're going to use some wooden stems from the Dollar Tree. 2 of them in the smaller side would be fine. We're also going to use some leafy greens. These are just from picks that I had at home. And we're going to use some black vinyl as well as my scissors and a pencil and also a little heating tool to remove stickers and a weeding tool just to help remove those stickers. All right, so we're going to remove the sticker from the little plastic mason jar, and that one removed very easily. Now this one, on the other hand, took a while, but it's okay. The heating tool actually worked really well, but I did it in a low setting so that it wouldn't melt the plastic. I'm going to draw a couple of eyes and mouth. This is going to be for a jack-o'-lantern style craft. And I'm just going to do it to fit the size of both jars. Now, I do it on the back and then I pick the best ones and then cut them. I like to cut both eyes at the same time by folding the vinyl. That way, both eyes are going to be exactly the same size and shape just like these two. If you have a cutting machine, of course, you can use that as well. Now make sure that, again, the sizes match the jar, and that way it's going to fit nice and pretty towards the front of the jar, just like that. Now we're going to make 2 little jack-o'-lantern style crafts, but we're going to make them a little different, so you have 2 different styles that you can do at home. This one, we're going to place the jack-o'-lantern face first, and then we're going to paint. So for this one, I place it towards the front, just like stickers, and then I am going to paint the jar right over the stickers. And this is a beautiful orange by Waverly. And then we're going to do this one a little different. We're going to paint the jar first in this beautiful yellow tone by Waverly and let it dry. I did a couple of coats on each. For the lids, I'm going to start with this Waverly mossy green. Once dry, then I'm going to give it 1 coat of a brighter green. The reason why I did this is because chalk paint has a better coverage. So I wanted to give it a base first with a nice coverage. And then this brighter tone one just looks better as a pumpkin. But it's up to you. Use whatever green tones you have at home, of course. Set that to side and it's dry. So now let's remove the little jack-o'-lantern face. So we're just going to carefully use the weeding tool to remove it. And then this is just so enjoyable to remove this. All right, so it's looking so cute. I love it. Now for the other one, we are going to just place it now like stickers. So these are 2 different ways you can do these little jack-o'-lanterns. The first style is great if you want to put a full candle or maybe some fairy lights inside of it and light up at night. For this one, it's just cute for all day long. So we're going to place the cap on that one. Look how adorable. Oh my gosh. We're going to hot glue the wood stems right on top. The smaller one on the smaller jar and then the bigger one on the bigger jar. We're going to add the leafy greens, again, just to one side. This is completely optional, of course. You can use a ribbon, you can use flowers, you can, whatever you want, you can give them little bows, whatever you want. All right, so now we're going to place a full candle. This is one of those flickering battery-operated candles you can get at Dollar Tree. Place it right there inside, and I think these turned out absolutely adorable. Such an easy craft you can make with your kiddos. Fun, easy, inexpensive, but I'd love to know what you think of this one. I love fall. So and we're starting with some cardboard. This one is from Dollar Tree, but you can use any cardboard you have. We're also going to use a canvas. This is a flat canvas from Dollar Tree. You can also use paper or poster board. We're going to use different types of paint: brown, green, yellow, orange, red. And this is because we're creating a fall tree. So just use whatever colors you have, but if they're in the fall theme, much better. We're going to use this little tray just simply to hold some stamps. And then we're going to use a pencil, my scissors, as well as hot glue. You can use a glue stick, but it'll take longer to dry. All right, we're going to start by cutting off a piece of cardboard. You do not need a large one. Unless you are doing a bigger project or a bigger craft, then you want to do bigger leaves. So we're going to draw some leaves, or at least the shape of leaves, using my pencil. And I'm going to need 5 of them because I have 5 different colors. The brown does not count. All right, so now we're just going to cut them. Now this cardboard is a little on the thinner side. This is more of a presentation board made out of cardboard. But if you're using thicker cardboard, of course, you can also use a blade knife or X-Acto knife, but be very careful. You can also do this step before you even start working with your kiddos. All right, then we cut a thin strip, and we're going to cut them into 5 little strips, maybe about 1.5 inches. And then we're going to fold them in half in the shape of an L and hot glue 1 to each leaf, to the back of it, just like that. We're creating little tiny leaf stamps. So just by hot gluing this little L-shaped cardboard will help us grab it and be able to stamp several times. The canvas that we're using is flat, but Dollar Tree has many style canvases and in many sizes, so I highly recommend you go pay them a visit. All right, so we're going to take the brown paint and a brush, and we're just going to create what will look like a tree trunk and branches. This is where you can do whatever you want, okay? Your kiddos can have fun. Just create a tree with branches. Let them have fun. I'm going to fill it in, and I'm just going to add as needed. Now, you can let it dry, but I didn't because it's not needed. You can just start stamping right after you're done with the tree trunk. I did a similar craft, a lot larger, and I did it with fabric instead of stamping. And I did that last year, and it turned out great. And that was on my other crafting channel, DIY Beauty on Purpose. All right, so now we're going to just put a little bit of paint. Now, you can do this on a paper plate, and I just did it on a piece of scrap paper. I put a dab of each color of the paint, and now I'm going to take my little stamps, and I'm just going to dip them and start stamping. I wanted to do 3 of each leaf, but you can do as many or as little as you want. And then just do them sparingly, just 1 here and there, and try to keep them separated so that each color is not so close to each other. And this is when you're going to have so much fun just stamping, and if it gets messy, even better. Just have fun. All right, so we're just adding here the beautiful orange tone. This is a pumpkin shade by Waverly, and I'm just going to do this one, about 4 of them. Look how cute that looks. You can leave it just like this. At the last minute, I did decide to add the phrase Happy Fall using a paint marker, and I'm just going to do that right there on the bottom right corner. And that's it for this one. You can add a hanging piece to the back so it could be hung. Gorgeous. I love this craft. I think I'm going to redo it again when my kiddos are with me. They're actually sleeping right now. And I am crafting with both of my kids today. We're going to use paper plates, and we want to make sure that the back of it is nice and matte. There they are. They're saying hi. Comment below and say hi, kids. All right, so we're going to be using some sandstone paint. This is just a beige paint, some paintbrushes, and orange and pink markers, and some black markers. We're going to use some paper. We're going to use some brown construction paper and yellow. And some googly eyes in the medium size would probably be best. You can also use buttons for eyes or just draw them. We're going to start painting the plates, and we're just going to do one coat. Waverly Chalkman has great coverage, so one coat was sufficient. And we're just going to do it all around the back of the plate, and then of course put it to the side and let it fully dry. It dries pretty quickly. While that's drying, we're going to make a hat for our little scarecrow. So we're going to fold the construction paper in half, and we're just going to cut it directly in half. The goal is to have a piece that is about 6 inches by 7 inches, or simply a piece that's going to look good with the size plates you have. We're going to then cut those pieces into triangles. So just find the middle portion of it and then just cut directly to each corner and you'll get a nice triangle. Again, just have a piece, a triangle that's going to fit nicely on the size plate that you have. And of course, help your kiddos as needed. It was easier for my little one to cut with lines, so I just drew some lines and then helped him cut. All right, so now we are going to take the black markers and we're just going to make just a line about an inch from the bottom and fill it in. You can also use construction paper if you have that in black, cut of a strip and glue it to the bottom, or like we're doing, we can just draw 2 lines and fill it in. Now we're going to take the marker and we're just going to make the little hashtag sign or pound sign or just a little tic-tac-toe grid, just like this. We're making a little scarecrow, and you can add as many of these as you want, of course. All right, so now it's time to flip it over, and we're going to cut some of these strips of yellow paper. We're going to cut them about maybe ½ an inch, give or take. They do not need to be perfect. And we're going to cut them into about 3-inch strips, and later on, after they're attached, you can always trim them. We're going to use a glue stick. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. And we're just going to start gluing them, just literally placing them. We're going to put them to the side of each triangle as well as to the top. And then we're going to trim them into a size that kind of makes sense. And here and there, just trim a little bit. All right, so once they are attached, of course, help the little ones as needed. This is when we're going to flip it over and just start trimming. Now here, you just want to do whatever you want. I wanted the ones on top to be a little shorter, and then the ones by the face, directly by the face, just trim them up, but leave the ones on the sides a little longer. But again, that's just by preference, whatever you want. All right, so now that the plate is nice and dry, we're going to bring it in and we're going to attach the hat to the top with some glue stick, and we're just going to add liberally an amount there to the top and attach the hat. All right, so once the hat is attached, it's time to start working on the face. This is where we're going to take the googly eyes. We tried to glue them with the glue stick. It did not work. So we're just going to add hot glue very carefully, of course, and attach one eye at a time. And you can do them wherever you want, as close as you want, separate as you want. It's up to you. But as I mentioned earlier, you can also use buttons if you do not have googly eyes, or you can also draw the eyes on or paint them. We're going to take the orange marker and we're just going to draw a triangle for the nose and fill it in. You can also use orange paper. You can use crayon or coloring pencils. Whatever you have on hand works well as well. And then we are going to draw a mouth using the black markers. And then we're just going to make little stitches on the mouth to make it look like a little scarecrow. And you can just make vertical lines or little X's, whatever you want. We're going to take the pink marker and we're going to make little rosy cheeks. So just make little circles and just add that next to the mouth, one on each side. This part is completely optional, of course, but I'm going to make little bows to add either as bow ties or as a bow to the hair. And we're just going to make little 2 bunny ears, cross them into each other, making bows, and trim them as needed. My son wanted the blue one. I'm going to make an orange one for my daughter. My daughter is making an actual bow for her scarecrow, which is a girl. And then we're going to trim him and we're going to attach him with hot glue. For mine, I'm going to make a little bow tie using jute string. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a few times, scrunch it in the middle, tie with jute string, trim as needed, fluff, and then we're going to use a little dab of hot glue. Again, be careful and help the little ones as needed. And then once they are attached, it's as fun as just hanging them. If you want to add a hanging piece to the back, you can also just display them. But look how fun these are. And it was a blast making these with my kiddos Love the way they turned out. I think they did much better job than I did. But what do you think? I'd love to know. Starting with a wooden clothespin that you can find at the dollar store or even Walmart. We're going to use some brown paint, a paintbrush, of course, and we're going to use some scissors. We're also going to use different construction paper, a red, yellow, brown, and then kind of like an orangey one. We're going to use a cup so that we can trace the round part. And we're going to start by painting everything brown. We're just going to do one coat because it actually created a nice coat. And then we're going to put it to the side to let it dry. I recommend brown. You can also use light brown or even beige. While that's drying, we are going to trace the cup in the brown paper. And then we are going to cut it. Of course, I always mention this. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be exact. And then we're going to trace another one on the yellow paper and cut it as well. We're going to cut off about an inch from the brown one, and then we're going to place the yellow one right on top, leaving it about half an inch under the top and cutting the excess. We want the smaller one to be just a little smaller than the big one. Then we're going to make some little strips here. We're just going to cut the top, maybe about 1/4 of an inch each. It does not matter, but of course don't cut all the way through. We're going to then use my fingernail and my fingers to just give it a little bit of a curl on the top strands. We're going to do that on both pieces. This part is actually optional, but I am going to hot glue both pieces together. You don't have to do this part because we are going to put the clothespin right on there. We are going to take the red paper and we are going to cut out a wattle for our turkey. Now you can cut it as little or as big as you want, and it doesn't matter as long as it has a wiggly shape to it. And then we're going to use the orangey kind of tone paper to cut out a triangle for the beak. And I forgot to mention, we are going to be using some googly eyes. These are little tiny ones. All right, we're going to start hot gluing both eyes right next to each other. Then we're going to move on to attaching the beak and then the wattle right next to the beak. Our turkey is coming along so stinking cute. The only thing we need now is to attach it to all the feathers. And look how adorable he looks. Oh my word, of course you can add as many feathers, as many colors as you want. The possibilities are endless. I think it's such a fun craft you can make with your kids this fall season. Let me know what you think. A paper bag. It doesn't matter as long as it's paper bag. You can also use a white one if you want. I'm going to use several of these plastic bags. I had 3, but I ended up just using 2. We're going to use a couple of these large googly eyes and 2 of a larger, buttons. We're going to use some construction paper. I'm going to use orange, yellow, as well as red, and a fall ribbon. Any ribbon you have on hand is fine. I'm going to use a rock. This is just so that we can weigh down our craft. I'm going to use my scissors, my hot glue, as well as a black marker. You can also use a Sharpie if you want. We're going to start by marking 6 inches from the bottom on the front of the bag, so not the side that flaps. Then we're going to draw what will look like a little mouth. We're creating a cute little scarecrow. We're just going to make it a cross and then make crisscross lines all the way from one side to the other. And then we're going to hot glue 1 button on each side. And this will be the rosy cheeks. Now we're going to take the orange construction paper and we're going to cut a triangle. And this will be the nose. And we're just going to hot glue it right there. I like starting at the bottom because it's just working your way up is so much easier. All right, so then we're going to hot glue both googly eyes right there at the top. Now we're going to open up the bag, and the first thing we want to place, of course, is the rock so that we can weigh it down. And then we're going to place the 2 bags. Again, you can use as many as you want. We want to make it nice and stuffy. So once the bags are in there, just make sure that they're nicely put towards each end and then all the way to the bottom. Just fold the top as you would any other lunch bag, and then we just want to fold it a couple of times and hot glue it to itself. I made the mistake that I added the glue on the outside, like right here. No, don't do that. Do it on the inside so it can hot glue to each other, just like that. All right, so we're going to then take that and we're going to mark 1 inch on each side of the width of the bag. And we're going to take the width of the ruler and we're just going to cut that piece. We're creating a cute little hat. Then we're going to take that piece again and we're just going to cut a piece that is as wide as the bag. And we're going to cut it into a triangle, and you can make it as high as you want. Once cut, we're going to join those 2 pieces together, creating what will look like maybe like a little witch hat. And you can use black construction paper if you want as well. We're going to bring in the ribbon. We're going to cut a piece as wide as the triangle. We're going to cut half of it because it was a little on the thicker side. And we're just going to add it right there. So cute. We're going to trim the edges and just cut off the excess. That way it's going to look nice and flush and pretty. We're going to make some hay, or what will look like hay. I have this yellow construction paper. We're going to cut small little pieces, and then we're going to hot glue them to the back of the hat. And we're just going to use my hot glue, but of course you can use your glue stick if that is safer and better for you. I'm going to do that all across. And then once you have the hat all done, we are going to hot glue all of it to the top of the bag, and you can trim the hay as you like. And I think it turned out so adorable. How fun is this fall craft? You can do it very inexpensively. I'd love to know what you think with a paper roll. We're going to also use 2 construction paper, a yellow one and a green one, but you can use any colors you want. I'm going to use my double-sided tape and markers in an orange, pink, and black, a couple of googly eyes, my scissors, and I did forget to mention a few things, but I'll show you on the wig as we go. And of course, we're going to use my hot glue. All right, we're going to cut off a piece of the paper of the green one. It's about 2 inches thick, and we're going to use a double-sided tape, and we're just going to attach it to the bottom of the paper roll. Roll away all the way around and then attach it with the double-sided tape. And then, of course, you want to cut off the excess. All right, this is why you can use any color you want. It doesn't have to be green. That's what it's looking like. And we're going to take the yellow paper and we're going to cut off 2 squares, one a little smaller than the other. And then we are going to attach them to the front, or what will be the front of a little scarecrow. We're just going to hot glue it in place, but you can also use the double-sided tape or regular glue if you have that. We're going to take the black permanent marker and we're going to make some stripes. This is going to look like little patches on his outfit, just like that. With the same marker, we're going to create a little mouth. And we're going to make little stripes going down so it looks like it's stitched on. And we're going to give it some rosy cheeks using the pink marker. We're going to take the yellow or the orange marker and we are going to make a triangle nose. But of course, you can also use paper if you have that instead. And we're going to hot glue the googly eyes right there. Now, I thought about using hay for the top. I didn't have any hay left over, so we're just going to use some moss. We're going to use what we have. And I didn't mention it earlier. I completely forgot, but moss you can find at the dollar store. All right, we're going to hot glue a little strip around the top of our little scarecrow, all the way around. Just be careful. You don't want to burn yourself. Another piece I forgot to mention was that we're going to use a little bit of a ribbon, and this is a burlap ribbon, but you can use any ribbon you have. I did trim off some of the moss here and there, and we're going to attach it just by placing it, and I'm going to use my finger protector because the glue will seep through the ribbon, and we're just going to attach it from the front all the way to the back. Now, I didn't cut mine long enough, so make sure you cut it about 7 inches long. We're going to tie it in the top with a jute string. We're going to make a very simple knot, cut off the excess, and we're going to add a tiny little flower to the top. This is just going to add that last minute little touch of fall festive decor. And I gotta say, he is so cute. Oh my gosh, you can make multiples of these. You can stuff them with candy, whatever you want. We're gonna start with 4 of these paint sticks. You can also use 3 or 5 if you want. I'm gonna use some popsicle sticks, and the thinner the better, or I guess the smaller the better for this one. We're going to use some fall fabric. This one is leftover from another project. I'm just going to use it. If it's fall related or fall theme, even better. I get these on Dollar Tree. We're going to use some fall leaves. These are also from Dollar Tree. And some jute string as well as a pom-pom ball. But you can definitely make your own with yarn. I'm going to use my scissors and my hot glue. We're going to start by joining all 4 paint sticks together. We're going to line them up straight. And then we're going to add them some popsicle sticks to the back with hot glue. It's going to join all 4 pieces together nicely and secure, and it's going to be a light piece, so it doesn't matter. I added about 5 of them, but you can use as many as or as little as you want. Doesn't matter if they are hanging from the sides because we're going to cover that up. I'm going to mark 5 inches from the bottom, and we're just going to mark with the pencil lightly, and this is where we're going to start placing some fall leaves. We're creating a fall gnome. Now we're going to start at the bottom because we want the leaves to stack one on top of each other. So just keep adding the leaves until you reach that line that you made the mark on. And we're just going to add these last few here at the top. And then it's time to bring in the fabric. We're going to fold a little bit so it's not frayed on us. And then we're going to hot glue it to the top, overlapping the leaves just a little bit, just like this. And then you want to trim off any excess fabric. If you have a piece of scrap fabric, just trim as much or as little as you need so it can wrap around the paint sticks. I'm going to secure it in the back with hot glue. And then once we flip it back to the front, we're just going to scrunch it and make what will look like a little hat, of course. I'm going to tilt the hat or the top of the hat a little bit towards the side, but you can skip that. You can just tie it right there in the top and let it be. It's up to you. I used a jute string to secure it in place, and as I mentioned, we're just going to tilt it to the side, hot glue it in place, and then we're going to make a very simple bow using more jute string. I'm just going to wrap it around my 4 fingers. We're going to scrunch it in the middle, tie it with more of that jute string, and then we're going to hot glue it on top of some leaves. I decided to add a couple more of those leaves because I think it'll tie everything together. Cutting off the excess, we're just going to add those couple of leaves, and then we're going to add the bow right there in the center. This is when you can get creative, and you can add whatever you want. You can add acorns, more leaves if you want. You can even add a ribbon, whatever you want. We're going to add the pom-pom nose right there. This is going to be the nose, and of course, any gnome has to have a massive, cute nose. And then we're going to take some jute string. We're just going to hot glue it to the back. This is so that we can hang the piece. Now, because it's attached to fabric, it attached so good. But look how stinking cute he is. Oh my word, he is so festive. I love the fabric and the nose and the leaves. But what do you think? Let me know down below. Don't worry about if there's any glue because we're going to cover that up. For this one, we're going to use white paint, a paintbrush, as well as some fabric, preferably white, of course, because we are making a little mummy, and some googly eyes, I'd say maybe in the medium size, and some hot glue. We're going to start by giving the tin can 2 coats of white paint. I use Waverly Chalkman in the white, but of course you can use any white paint you have. You can also spray paint it. While that's dry, I'm going to take my white fabric. I'm going to remove the sticker. This is from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut it into strips that are about maybe 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Don't worry about them being perfect. Actually, the less perfect they are, the better. This part you don't have to do, but I decided to hot glue them together into one long strips to make it easier, but you can certainly hot glue them as you go and as you are wrapping it around. This is what the tin can looks like, nice and dry, and we're going to add the medium-sized googly eyes, maybe about 1.5 inches from the top, and maybe about leaving between 1 inch to 1/2 inch in between each eye. So then we're going to start wrapping around the strip of white fabric. We're going to start in the back, hot gluing it. And then we're going to start wrapping it again like a mummy. So this does not have to be perfect. Again, the least perfect, the better. So we're just going to wrap it around, scrunching it. And then when we get to the eyes, we're going to wrap it around, just overlapping a little bit on the top and the bottom of the eyes. And then we're going to wrap it all the way to the top of the tin can. And I did have some leftover, so I just brought it right back around, making sure that it has a little bit more of a crisscross look, making it look a little bit more like a mummy, and then hot gluing it in place. This is it. What a fun craft. You can use this as a centerpiece with florals or make it fun and add some crayons or markers. But look how adorable he is. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. And there's another craft coming here for you. For this craft, we're going to again use a tin can. Again, don't worry about the glue part. We're going to use some orange yarn, but you can use any yarn color you want. And we're going to use some of these large googly eyes, 2 of them. We're going to use my scissors as well as hot glue. We're going to use some orange paint for this one. And we're also going to be using a paintbrush, of course. We're going to give this can only 1 coat and let it dry. You actually don't need to paint it, to be honest with you. But if you paint it, you'll be using less yarn. So that's why I used the paint. All right, once dry, we're going to hot glue the yarn starting at the bottom. Now, the only parts that we're going to hot glue are going to be the bottom line of yarn as well as the final top one, okay? So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to add glue all the way around, and then we're going to start wrapping it around over and over again as close as possible to each other. And then towards the end, I did overlap and crisscross as needed just to make it fluffier and thicker. All right, so we're going to add the last few strands here, and then we're going to secure it with a little tiny bit of hot glue and cut off the excess. We're going to add the googly eyes to the front. We're just going to add them towards the top, one next to each other, of course. These are just massive, and that's it. This is such a fun craft. I'm going to use it as a pencil holder, But again, you can use it with flowers or just make it a fun centerpiece. What do you think? Let me know which one is your favorite. Which one would you like to try with your kids? With 2 pieces of cardboard. This is on the thinner side, but you can also use stock paper. Speaking of stock paper, we're going to use 2 different color ones, a beige one and a brown one, but you can also use construction paper. I'm going to use 2 types of yarn, although you can use just one or even just white yarn. I'm going to also use a black marker, a coral marker, as well as a glue stick. I'm going to use a stitching needle, but you don't have to use this. You can thread it on your own. And we're going to use 2 large googly eyes. We're going to use my hole puncher as well as my scissors and a small bowl to be able to make a nice circle. All right, first thing we want to do is I want to trace my cardboard just so that it's easier to handle. And then I'm going to glue the lighter color paper right on top of it. Again, if you have stock paper, just use the stock paper by itself. Or if you want to use a thicker cardboard, that's okay too. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the other one because it does not need to be that big. And I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to place the brown paper right on top and then cut off the excess. We're going to make a cute little acorn character. So we're going to draw a little face here, just an oval. Just make it look like a little face. It does not matter. And of course, you can make this any size you want. I'm just going with the flow here with what I have, but please make it the size you want. I want to take the bowl and I'm just going to trace it onto the brown one, making a nice circle. And then I made like a little stem at the top. This will be the little top portion of the acorn. We're just going to cut the excess and then I'm going to cut at the bottom. And I'm going to keep cutting until I kind of like what I see. I'm going to make some dots and just mark where I want to punch some holes. And I'm going to do 7 on top. And I believe I did 5 at the bottom. It doesn't matter. We are going to crisscross the yarn. And this is where the yarn is so fun, because it's going to give it character and a lot of texture. Of course, if you don't have yarn, you can skip it. You can also use jute string if you have that, ribbon if you have that, or you can just draw some crisscross lines. So many possibilities. This is where I use my stitching needle because I'm using 2 yarns, and I'm just going to crisscross the yarn back and forth from the holes. I'm not focused on what it looks like on the back. I'm just focused on the front, making sure that the yarn is crisscrossing each other like X's. So I'm just going to cut off the excess and then tape it to the back. This is just going to hold it in place, and it doesn't matter if it looks like this in the back. All right, so we're going to then move on to the face of the acorn. We're just going to draw a very simple smile and add little rosy cheeks with the coral marker. You can use crayons too, or coloring pencils. We're going to hot glue the 2 googly eyes right there. If you have a smaller face, you can use smaller googly eyes, of course. And then we're going to hot glue the little top portion. And I think he is such an adorable character. Oh my word, what an easy and fun craft you can do with your kids this fall season. For this rest fun, we are going to use a blue construction paper and some markers. Now, I did change a few things, and I'll show you as we go. But I used a black marker, white marker, brown marker, and tried to use an orange marker. I'm also going to use some buttons and a little piece of thin fabric. We're going to use some white paint, a brush, of course, and then a cup just with 2 size, entries, like the smaller size and the larger side. All right, we're going to cut off a piece of the bubble wrap. And then we're going to trace the larger side of the cup and then the smaller side. We're going to make a cute little snowman. And this is going to be a greeting card. And I can't wait to show you. I'm going to cut it off. And then we are going to wipe off the excess ink. That way you can't see that part. And I'm just going to use a little wipey, little disinfecting wipe. And that really worked well. Once the bubble wrap was dry, we're just going to paint over it just like we would anything else. And then we're going to set it to the side to dry. Now, I wanted to hurry up, but I wanted to show you what I did. I want to place them in underneath a fan so that way they dry fast. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape and then place each one there. And that way they can be under the fan without the, air blowing them all over the place. All right. While that's drying, which it didn't take long, we're going to fold the construction paper in half. And then with my white marker, we're just going to write Merry Christmas and make some snowflakes falling all over the inside. Of course, this is where you can add whatever you want. You can add a personalized message and whatever else you want. All right, so now that my snowman pieces are dry, we're going to hot glue them to the front, but you can also use other types of glue, of course. And then we're going to add the smaller one right on top. And then it's time to just add some fun little details. I decided to add a little hat, so I'm going to take this stock paper in the black tone, and we're just going to make a little tiny hat for the snowman, and then hot glue the pieces, kind of like in a little bit of a tilt. We're going to take the brown marker, and we're just going to make some stick arms, and then we're going to use 2 of the buttons and use those as the buttons. Now, at first, I thought I'd use the black marker for the eyes. It just didn't look pretty, so I'm going to take 2 smaller black buttons, and we're going to use those as eyes. And instead of using the orange marker for the nose, we're just going to use some orange construction paper, and it worked so much better. But of course, use whatever you have on hand. Now we're going to take the small little piece of fabric, and we're just going to hot glue it, and then we're going to crisscross it to make it look like a little scarf. Of course, you can also use ribbon if you have that instead. And then we're going to use the white marker once again and just tie everything together with the snowflakes falling. And I think so adorable. Oh my word. This could be used as a greeting card, but it could also be used as an art that you can place on the wall. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Christmas craft, we are going to take more bubble wrap, and we're going to take some green paint, some pom-poms. I get these on Amazon, but you can use the ones from Dollar Tree as well, and a tiny little golden bell. And we're going to use some red construction paper for this one, but again, you can use whatever you have on hand, and we're going to use a brush. We're going to cut off a piece of the bubble wrap, and then we're going to cut it into a triangle because we're going to make a Christmas tree out of this one. We're actually going to do 2 more crafts, so this one and 1 more using this same tree. All right, so we are going to use the same technique we used earlier and paint over the bubble wrap. This time we're going to do the green paint, and then we're going to use it as a stamp rather than using the piece of bubble wrap. But don't throw it away because this is exactly what we're going to use for the next craft. Once you have it stamped, you have the shape of a tree. And this time I decided to use my heating tool instead of the fan to dry it quicker. We're going to use the pom-poms to act like our ornaments, and we're just going to hot glue them here and there. I'm going to stick with a cute little red, green, and white pattern. And then on the top, we are going to add the tiny little golden bell. And we're going to use the brown marker, and we're just going to use that to create a stem for the tree. But again, you can use anything else. You can write a message next to it. You can do whatever you want. But I love using this bubble wrap as a stamp. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Christmas craft, we're going to take a white piece of paper. This is just a regular copy paper. And we're going to use the now dry piece of bubble wrap with a little bit of that paint on it still. I am going to hot glue it in place, but again, you can use whatever glue you have and even clear tape if you have that. And then we're going to add some of these vase fillers as our ornaments, and I want you to hear how it sounds as the bubble wrap is popping. Isn't that funny? The heat from the hot glue is making them pop, and I just thought that was kind of funny. Anyways, once they were all attached, I'm just going to make another stem with a brown marker, and for this one, we're going to add a Merry Christmas to the top using a green marker, and that's it. What another fun way to use these bubble wraps. I'm loving them. What do you think of this one? Let me know which one is your favorite, of course, and which one would you want to already have this at home. This is one of those heavier duty, larger plates. I'm going to use construction paper in an orange and black, as well as a ribbon, Christmas ribbon theme. It does not matter. You can also use colored paper. We're going to use a thumbtack. We're also going to use a black marker and a white marker and some leaves from this pick, as well as the red berries. All right, we're going to start by placing my ruler right on top of there. We're creating a snowman, so I want to make sure that I have this marking where the hat's going to go. And then we're going to start writing numbers 1 through 25 because this will be a countdown to Christmas craft. I started with the 13 directly down in the center at the bottom, work my way up to 25 towards the right, and then we're going to do from 13 all the way up to 1 on the other side. And that will create 25 days till Christmas. All right, now we're going to take the orange construction paper and we're going to draw a carrot nose. Now I went way overboard with the size of the carrot. Yes, way too large. So I'm going to cut it first, but then I placed it in the middle and realized, oh my gosh, that's way too long. So I'm going to cut quite a bit and I'm going to keep trimming until I kind of have a size that fits my plate, and what I'm looking for. Then I'm going to make marks with my black marker just to kind of make it look a little bit more 3D and more like a carrot. All right, I'm going to mark with my pencil right there in the center, and then I'm going to place the thumbtacks right through the orange paper and then through the little mark I made. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. It's going to be pokey and pointy in the back, and yes, it's very dangerous. So to cover that up, I'm going to take a piece of this foam, and then we're just going to cut off a piece, literally just a tiny little piece. And then once I had it cut off, I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and just place a very tiny tap right there on the tip of the thumbtack and place the foam. Now, you do not want the hot glue to drip down to the plate. That way, it still rolls around, but it's not pointy in the back. We're going to take the black construction paper. We're going to cut off a 2-inch piece right from the bottom. And then we're going to cut a 6-inch piece by about another 6 or 7-inch piece. And this is what we're going to use to create the hat. We're going to hot glue the piece there with, again, with hot glue. And then we're going to place the longer piece right in front. And you can also use glue stick or white glue if you have that as well. Coming along nicely, we're going to take the ribbon and we're just going to cut up a piece and add it right there towards the center of the hat, cutting off any excess. I'm going to use a black marker to create little eyes for our snowman. I'm just going to make them all black, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of a white space, just a little white dot. You can also add it with white paint or white marker if you'd like. And then I'm going to make a cute little mouth and then add just some greenery and berries to the hat. Again, this is optional. You don't have to add this, but I think it looks super cute. And I already had this on hand, so why not? We're going to hot glue it in place and then add the berries right there in the center. And as a last minute touch, I'm just going to add some rosy cheeks. Of course, you can skip this if you want, but I think he looks absolutely adorable. What a great craft you can make with your kids. I love that it's a countdown and you can use all Christmas long. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with some popsicle sticks, some googly eyes, black and white paint, some paint brushes, the wire cutters or anything you can cut the popsicle sticks with, red and orange paper, and a black marker. My daughter is going to be helping me, so she is going to be making her own, which I love crafting with her. And so we're going to start by stacking up 5 popsicle sticks and then cutting off pieces of another one to help us attach them on the back with some hot glue. My daughter's going to be doing the same exact thing. And she is a very, very good crafter at a very young age. She started crafting, and now I love crafting with her. We're going to then paint about 1/3 of the stack of popsicle sticks, and then paint another popsicle stick in the black color. And then we're going to paint the remaining stack of the popsicle sticks in white. Today we are creating 3 ornaments, and this one is a gorgeous little snowman. So we're going to add, once dry, of course, we're going to add that popsicle stick right there where both colors meet. And then we're going to take the red paper and we're going to cut off small little strips and we're going to add it right there on top. This is just to add a little bit of color in between the hat parts, just like that. And then we're going to add googly eyes, of course, to make them fun, and just going to add some details. We're going to take the orange paper and create a carrot nose. So just cut it in the shape of a triangle, whatever size you want. And then we're going to glue it right there in the center. We're going to use a black marker to create a nice happy face. And then we're going to take the black string and we're going to knot it and we're going to hot glue it to the back. And this is how we can hang these ornaments. And my daughter and I love shaking our creations for you. But look how adorable they look. You can make, of course, as many as you want. You can gift them to friends and family or use them for your tree. What do you think? For this next Christmas craft, we are going to use more popsicle sticks, a green paper, red and kind of like yellowish pom-poms in the smaller size, red glittery paper, but you can also use regular red paper, green paint, googly eyes, a black marker, more string, We're also going to use paintbrushes, of course, scissors, the hot glue, and a gold marker. But you can also use yellow paper if you do not have gold marker. All right. Again, we're going to stack some popsicle stick. These are going to be 4 of them. And then we're going to cut off some extra pieces so that we can, again, attach it to the back, just like you see here. And then we're going to paint about 1/3 of it in this beautiful green. We're creating little elves ornaments. And then we're going to take the green paper and we're going to cut off a triangle. This is just going to mimic a little hat for our elf. Then just make sure that you make the wider part as wide as the popsicle sticks. And you can make it as high or as low as you want. And then you want to hot glue it in place, or you can also use a regular glue for this one. Then we're going to take the red glittery paper. Again, if you don't have this, of course, you can just use red paper. And we're going to create just some details for the hat as well as the little clothes for our elves. And I'm just going to wiggle it and make it look like a little crown. Now, my daughter had a little bit of a hard time, so I'm just going to have her trace hers out of mine. And this is what it should look like, give or take. And then we're going to hot glue it to the top, or actually to the bottom of the hat, to the top of the elf, just like that. We're going to create another one, and we're going to hot glue it to the bottom. This is going to be like a little, almost like a little detail for the outfit. And then we're going to hot glue the red pom-pom to the top of the hat. My daughter thought it was going to be the nose. We were both laughing so hard. I said, no, that's for the hat. It's okay. We all do it. Now we're going to add the googly eyes, and then we're going to add the nose, and we're going to use the orange pom-pom. Of course, you can use yellow if you want as well. Even black or white should work. And then once that's attached, we are going to make a nice smiley face for our elf because he's happy to help Santa. And then the last thing we need to do is a belt. So we're going to add a belt with a black marker right there in the center of the green portion. And then we're going to use the gold marker, and this is what we're going to use to create a belt buckle. But again, if you have yellow paper, you can use that as well, or maybe even yellow paint. I love doing this, and look at her fixing my work. I love her. All right, so these are ornaments. We have to add strings so that we can hang them. So we're just going to use the same method we used earlier, knot it, and then hot glue it to the back. And then, of course, we got to show you while we shake the googly eyes. Look how adorable they look. This is a great craft you can make with your kids, a fun one. You can help as needed, of course. But what do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start using some tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. They come 72 in a pack, and they are $1.25 for the whole box. I like to keep them in a basket because it keeps them contained and easy to work with. We're going to use some ribbon. You can use whatever ribbon you have at home. My scissors, as well as this cardstock that has a shimmery finish to it. I found that one at Dollar Tree. And my shaped hole punchers. I get these on Amazon. I'm going to use the one that has a snowflake shape to it. But of course, you can even use, cut it by hand. We're going to use red paint, black paint, paint brushes, as well as some black string. And we're also going to use the hot glue. We are going to start by joining 2 of them together vertically. And then the other one we're going to join at the bottom horizontally. We're going to create 2 little ornaments in the shape of a snowman hat. I think these will be so cute to make with your kiddos. And we're going to do a second one, and we're going to do the same thing. Join 2 of them vertically and then the other one horizontally at the bottom. We're going to paint one of them black. I am using Waverly Chalkman in the ink tone, and then the other one's going to go red, and I painted it in the Waverly Chalkman in the crimson. While those are drying, I am going to take the cardstock. Again, I found this at Dollar Tree, and they come different shades. And we're going to cut off 2 snowflakes using my hole punchers. How cute that is. And I love these because they come out right at the bottom and you just open it up and remove them. I do have this set in my Amazon store. Again, if you want to check that out, it is always linked down in the description box. All right, so my little hats are now dry. So I'm going to add red ribbon to the black one. And I forgot to paint the back. I noticed as I was attaching it, and I was already committed, so we ain't going back. But please paint the back. I think it takes no time at all, and it just looks so pretty. All right, so once I attach the ribbon all the way around, I attach the little snowflake to the front. And now we're going to loop a piece of the ribbon and we're going to hot glue it to the back. That way we can hang the ornament. For the red one, we're going to use this beautiful striped candy cane style ribbon from Dollar Tree. Again, I forgot to paint the back, but please ignore that part. Wrapped it around, and then we're going to add the little snowflake and then loop more ribbon, knot it, and then attach it to the back. And I think these turned out so cute. You can make so many of these in different shades. You can do gray and white. Oh my goodness. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree Christmas craft, we're going to take more tumbling tower blocks. For this one, we're going to use white paint, red paint, and cream color paint. We're going to also use this white towel from Dollar Tree, but this is optional. Have a wood bead. I get these on Amazon. We're going to use my scissors, paint brushes, of course, and white ribbon for this one, a black marker, and our hot glue as well. We're going to paint 3 blocks. One of them is going to be white, the other one red, and the other one in the cream color. And then, of course, you want to put that to the side. Now, we wanted to use the towel. Again, this part could be optional. But the reason why we want to use this, we want to cut off a tiny little piece from the bottom. And this is going to give us a cute little hat for our Santa ornament. Once the blocks are dry, we're going to hot glue them together. The red on the top, the cream in the middle, the white at the bottom. And then we're going to attach the little fuzzy white strip of towel. And we're going to hot glue it in between the cream and the red blocks. Once that's attached, we're going to attach the little half bead right there as a nose. And then we're going to mark some eyes there for our Santa. And then we're going to take the white ribbon. Again, like earlier, we're going to loop it and knot it. And we're going to hot glue it to the back. You can add whatever else you want. You can add a long beard to Santa, whatever you want. But I think keeping it like this is nice and quick and simple. So fun to make this with your kiddos. What an easy craft. Of course, if you're going to use hot glue, you can do that part, but they can paint and draw. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. We're starting with this pack of pom-poms. I got this on Amazon. Now, Dollar Tree does carry their own, so keep that in mind, but you get so much more bang for your buck when you buy them in bulk. This ornament came from Dollar Tree and has a beautiful light shape. And these fairy lights are from Amazon, and this part is actually optional. We're going to use a chenille stem. And the first thing I noticed was that the top of the string does not come off. So we're going to leave it on for now. We're going to take the tip of my hot glue, and we are going to poke a hole onto the plastic towards the top, because that's what we're going to use to thread the string lights. Again, this part is optional. You do not have to have the lights on. It's still going to be very pretty without them. But it's a light bulb ornament, so I thought it has to have lights. All right, so I'm going to string or thread the lights through the little hole, and then as we stuff. So we're going to do a little bit of stringing the lights, and then a little bit of pom-poms, and then lights and pom-poms. And we're going to continue to do this until the entire thing is filled. I want to see a lot of the lights, of course. I don't want them to hide in between the pom-pom. So I'm kind of purposely making sure that they are falling or arranging on the outside, so that you can see them. It's actually really easy, and it took no time. So once I had everything stuffed in, I do have, of course, the cable left over and the battery pack. Don't worry, we are going to do something with that. Look how cute it's looking. All right, we're going to place that top portion right back on, and then we are going to replace the string with the chenille stem. I'm just going to cut it off, take half of a jumbo red chenille stem. We're going to twist it at the bottom after we loop it, and when we're just going to hot glue it to the top. And it's a very lightweight piece, so it held on really well. You just hold it until it hardens. The leftover cable, we're just going to roll around in a tiny little circle, and we're going to secure it in the back of the ornament with tape. So just pick which side you want it to be the back, and then tape the remaining cable and hot glue the battery pack, and that is it. This ornament is stunning. I love it. My daughter kept it for her Christmas tree, of course. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Christmas craft, we're going to take more pom-poms, more Mod Podge, and I promise it's going to work this time. And then some construction paper and some cardboard. A couple of bowls, although I did change one of them. And then we're going to take my pencil, and of course we're going to need scissors and hot glue as well for this one. Okay. So, oh, and some ribbon. Yes. All right. So we're going to start by placing the construction paper on top of the cardboard. It doesn't matter. We just want to cut a piece of the construction paper that's going to fit the largest bowl or whatever object you have that is round. Then we're going to add many amounts of Mod Podge, and we're just going to spread it around with a brush. And then we're going to place the construction paper on top of the cardboard. Now you can also use just a construction paper, or if you have stock paper, but I wanted this one to be a little sturdier, so the cardboard really helped. So now we're going to trace the bowl right on top. And then I thought the little bowl was just still too big, so I'm going to take my masking tape and we're going to use that instead, because we're going to create a nice cute little Christmas wreath. All right, so once everything is drawn, we're just going to cut off the excess cardboard from the outside as well as the inside, creating a wheel, I guess, and it's just going to be a small little wreath. Now we're going to take the pom-poms and we're just going to start hot gluing them all around the wreath. You can add as many as you want or as little as you want. It does not matter. The part that I love is that you can have fun and choose that. We're going to take this ribbon. You can use any ribbon, of course, but this one came from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to scrunch it in the middle after we looped it like an awareness ribbon. We're going to tie it in the center with a little bit of string, and then we're going to cut off the excess, and we're going to angle cut the bows or the legs of the bows. That way it's going to look nice and pretty. We're going to hot glue it what will be the top of the wreath, and then to the back we're just going to add a little loop of string. We're going to tie it, and we're going to both hot glue it and tape it, and that way it's not going to go anywhere. But what a cute little wreath you can make. You can make this bigger, smaller. You can turn this into an ornament, whatever you want. I think it's such a fun craft. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with this set of clear ornaments from Dollar Tree. They come two for $1.25, which I think it's a great deal. We are also going to use one of these white towels that you can find at the Dollar Tree. You'll find them in the automotive aisle, and I use them all the time, especially for Christmas and winter crafts. We are also going to use orange and black paints. We're going to use a small paintbrush as well as a skewer stick. We're also going to be using pom-poms. These are 2 of the green, 2 of the red, and then matching colors of Chanel stems. These are just pipe cleaners. We need 2 for each color. All right, now we're going to now cut several strips of the towel. You can do these in inch thickness or even in half an inch, whatever you want. And just cut enough to where we can insert them inside of the ornaments. So remove the little top portion of the ornament and place them inside. Just fill them up with the towel. You can use a skewer stick or your fingers to help you get it in there. And I like to put as much as I can fit because I like it to be nice and packed in there. And I did the same thing for the second one. Once both of them are nicely filled, just like this, we're going to place the top portion back on. And I don't know about you, but this is the hardest part of these ornaments. It's so hard to put in that thing back on. All right, we're going to place the pom-poms one on each side because we are making little snowman ornaments, but we're giving them some earmuffs. And then we're going to do the green ones on the other ornaments, and we're just going to place them again, one on each side. And then bring in these Chanel stems, and you want to cut them to whatever size you want. I cut mine in about 5 inches long, but again, you do whatever you want. I'm going to use the first one as a guide to cut the second one, and then we're going to hot glue it across one from each other. So hot glue one side, and then bring it across and hot glue the other side. Now that our snowmen have cute little earmuffs, we want to give them some eyes. So we're just going to use a paintbrush, and we're just going to paint a couple of eyes using the black paint. And then we're going to use another paintbrush, and we are going to give them some carrot noses. And again, you can do this as long, thick, or short as you want. We are then going to take the skewer stick. We're going to do the back end of the skewer stick, so not the pointy side. And we're going to do little dots, and we're going to use the black paint, and we're going to give them a smile. And that's about it, my friends. You can change the ribbon to hang them. I thought it didn't need them. I think these are absolutely adorable. I love the little earmuffs. So let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Christmas craft, we're going to take another one of those small ornaments. We're just going to need one this time, unless you want to make two. We're going to use some googly eyes, a brown Chanel stem. We're going to be using a paper bag. This one was the leftover from another project. We're going to use a red pom-pom. We're going to use my scissors, the hot glue, and we're also going to be using ribbon. I'm going to choose brown, but you can choose black, red, or white. Whatever you have on hand is fine. First thing we want to do is cut off the bottom portion of the paper bag and then cut the bag in strips. Similar to the previous project, we are going to stuff the ornament, but instead of the towel, we're going to use the paper bag. So we're just going to again remove the top portion of the ornament and then start stuffing the ornament with as many little paper strips as you can. And again, we want to place the little top portion back on as best as you can. And then we are going to take the brown ribbon and we're just going to thread it through and knot it at the top. That way we can hang this ornament from it. All right, so now we're going to take the Chanel stem and we're going to put it halfway through. We're going to wrap it around the top portion of the ornament and then twist it. And these are going to be the antlers for what will be a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer ornament. Then we are going to zigzag the ends or the remaining parts of it, give them that antler look. We're going to place the red pom-pom right there in the center with some hot glue and then the googly eyes. I wanted the nose and the eyes to be on the larger side. It gives it that nice, cute look, but you can use whatever size you want, and I think this one's absolutely adorable. My daughter kept this one. Actually, my kids always get my ornaments or my crafts. They have their trees in their rooms, but I think it's beautiful. What do you think? Let me know. Cardboard. This is on the thinner side, which I love. We're going to take this beautiful red yarn from Dollar Tree and a white one that I got. I believe it was either Hobby Lobby or Michael's, one or the two. We're going to use my scissors and my pencil as well as a cup and ruler, and we're also going to use hot glue. All right, we are going to trace the cup. You don't have to trace the whole thing, but we are going to create a candy cane, and I want that top portion to be nice and round. And then use my ruler to create that nice long part. Then we're just going to finish off the candy cane by rounding off the edges and then cutting off the excess cardboard. We are going to wrap the candy cane with a yarn, and we're going to do the whole thing white first. I thought it would be just so much easier to do that. And we're just going to start with a little bit of hot glue in one end and then work our way down to the other side, just making sure that you don't see any of the cardboard underneath. Once it was nicely attached, we are going to then start attaching the red yarn. And we're just going to add a little bit of glue and then wrap it around a few times. And you're going to see some of the white in between. This I did on purpose. I want it to look a little bit kind of like messy, I guess, just the red yarn portion. But of course, you can do whatever you want. So I'm just going to do that a few times all the way around, leaving about an inch or so in between the white and the red yarn. And again, securing it in place with a little bit of hot glue. That's it. Now you can leave it just like this, but I am going to add a little bit of yarn on the top, looping it and knotting and hot gluing it. This is so that we can create an ornament out of it, but of course you don't have to. You can just leave it just like this, and a fun craft to do with your kiddos. And I love, love, love the way it turned out. It just has a very modern, kind of messy look to the candy cane. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Christmas craft, we are going to start with a paper roll and some yarn. This one I got at Walmart in the summertime. I love the colors. We are going to use several cotton balls and we're going to use my scissors. Now this craft I did on my other channel, DIY Beauty on Purpose, and I love the way it turned out last year. And I wanted to recreate it here for you. It's so easy. We're going to cut off about 1.5 inches, give or take, of the paper roll. And then we're going to start cutting the yarn in pieces of about 20 inches long. Although you can get away with 15, I like to have a little bit extra just in case I need it. I'm going to cut several strips and then cut more as needed. We're going to fold in half, and then we're going to thread it through the inside of the paper roll, loop it, and then attach it just like you see here. And this is what you're going to do over and over again until the entire cardboard is covered. Alright, so I'm making sure that there are no spaces in between the yarn, and then we're going to take all these strands and we're just going to loop it through the hole. So just putting all the way through the hole. It's going to be a little snug and tight. That's okay. Just keep doing it until they reach the other end. And then you want to make sure that they're nice and straight on the other side. So just kind of comb them with your fingers until they're nice and straight. And then this is where you're going to bring the cotton balls. We're going to fill in the inside with cotton balls. Just fill it in, leaving it and holding it about 1 inch over the top of the cardboard. And then just keep stuffing it until you can't stuff anymore. And then once you have it nice and stuffed, then take an extra piece of yarn and tie it around just like that. We're going to create a cute little beanie hat, and we're going to use it as an ornament. But again, you don't have to use an ornament if you don't want to. We're going to comb these strands and grab a couple of the middle ones, make a knot, and this is what we're going to hang the ornament from. And then the remaining strands, we're just going to comb again with our fingers and cut off the excess so we can give it that nice pom-pom finish at the top. And you can cut this as long or as short as you want. Just keep trimming it until you like what you see. And then you have the nice little looped area where you can hang it. And I think it's absolutely adorable. And remember, you can do any color combination you want. You can even mix yarn colors. I think it's great. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're starting with a paper roll. We're also going to use this red fabric from the Dollar Tree. You can also use red construction paper and this black fabric, but again, you can use black paper. We're going to use this peel and stick vinyl from Dollar Tree with a golden tone. We're also going to use scissors and hot glue. All right, first thing we want to do is we want to cut the first roll, and we're going to cut it to 2.5 inches long, and then we're going to do the same with a second one. We want to have 2 of them, just like that. And then we are going to take the red fabric and we're going to cut off a piece that is 3 inches wide, because we're going to use this to be able to wrap each paper roll. Then add a little bit of glue and then roll the first one, again securing it with hot glue, and then do the same thing with the second one. And what we want to do is after we cut it off, we want to make sure that all of those edges are tucked in inside each paper roll. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue and then tuck it in. And of course, you want to do this if you're using hot glue. Don't want to make sure we do not burn little fingers. So we're going to do the same thing for the second one as well. All right, so now we want to take the black fabric and we are going to cut a 1.5 inch piece, because I do want to fold it into a 1/2 inch piece, but I want it to be a little bit thicker. But if you do not want to do this part, it could be a little challenge to fold small spaces, especially using hot glue. Go ahead and just cut it to about a 1/2 inch. It does not have to be thick at all. And if you're using paper, same thing. Or if you're using paper, you can also use craft glue if you have that. So we just want to create a nice thick 1/2 inch strip of black fabric. All right, now we're going to take the golden vinyl. We're just going to cut off a small little rectangle. You can also do a square if you'd like. Then we're going to draw a smaller rectangle in the middle and cut it off. We want to create a little belt buckle, but what will be a Santa suit craft. We're going to peel off the back and set it right there in the center. Now we're going to hot glue both cylinders together, and we are just going to then create what will be a Santa pants. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. All right, now we're going to add the belt buckle. We're just going to add it right there to the top and then wrap it around to the sides and then the back. Again, securing it with hot glue, just giving him a nice strong belt because we don't want his pants falling off. Of course not. All right, so once we have it put together, now it's time to give the Santa suit some suspenders, and we're going to use the red fabric. And again, if you have paper, you can use paper. We're going to cut about a 1/2 inch piece, and then we're just going to cut that in half, and we're just going to loop it from the front to the back with the hot glue. Of course, again, you can use whatever glue you are using, and I think it should work fine, especially if you're working with paper. So this is what it looks like. I think it's absolutely adorable. You can always cap the bottom of it and use it to put some mints or little treats, whatever you want. But let me know what you think of this one. I got this bundle at Amazon and they come so many colors. They're striped and I love that they're paper. We're also going to be using a popsicle stick, actually 2 of them, my scissors, as well as my hot glue. We're also going to be using some red ribbon or any ribbon that complements your design. I'm going to start by taking out several of the green and white and red and white straws. You want to just use as many as you want, depending on how big you want these to be. We're making little Christmas trees. We're going to line them up nice and straight, and then just make a line right down the center so that we can cut them as close as possible to halfway. It does not have to be perfect. Then we're going to start hot gluing them onto the popsicle sticks. I'm going to start just stacking them little by little, adding a little hot glue and adding them one by one, alternating between the red and the green colors. Then we're going to do the same thing with the second one, but I want the second one to be just a little smaller, so I added less straws. Once they're all attached, I just want to make sure that both ends on the bottom of the trees are going to be the same size or the same length from the popsicle stick. Then I'm going to mark at the top in the middle, and then I'm going to make lines going down, giving it that tree shape. I am leaving a little bit of a space in the top, just maybe about a ½ inch. Then I'm just going to cut right through those lines using my scissors, and because these are made by paper, it's great. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other tree. And now we are going to take the ribbon and we're going to make a couple of bows. I want one to be nice and tiny because we're going to place it at the top of the small tree. We're going to loop it like an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with string, fluff it and adjust as needed, cut off the ends, and then we're going to hot glue it to the top. And we're going to do the same thing except we're going to make it a little larger. And this one we're going to hot glue to the bottom of the larger tree. Again, loop it like an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, tie it, cut off the excess, fluff and adjust as needed, hot glue it to the bottom, and then I'm going to angle cut the legs. That way they're not going to be too long. Now you can add string and make these into ornaments. I decided to keep mine just like this, and I love the way these turned out. Of course, you can do any color you want, even with solid plastic straws. Definitely. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Christmas craft, we are going to take some of these leftover 4th of July straws, and we are going to also use some pom-poms depending on what size of a snowflake you want to make or what color. Then you just grab whatever pom-pom fits. We're going to use some white ribbon, my hot glue, and my scissors, of course. And I'm also going to use a ruler, except if you have a cutting mat that has the measurements, you don't need the ruler. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to cut the straws into 6 inches and then in 3 inches. And that way we're going to have several in the 3 inches. Now the colors that I am picking are blue and white because I want to make a snowflake ornament. But you can choose whatever color you want. And I'm just going to start by cutting a few. I ended up having to cut more afterwards, and that's better. It's better to cut little by little and not have a whole bunch excess afterwards. I'm going to cut out a 2-inch circle using poster board, and I'm just going to start hot gluing each 3-inch, creating just what will look like either a starburst or a snowflake. And I'm just going to keep adding as much as I like. Now, you can add as many or as little as you want. I just wanted to have more than what you see here. So I decided to cut more and then keep adding with hot glue. Now, once I was done adding the 3-inch ones, I decided to add a second layer with smaller ones. And those are about 2 inches long, give or take. So I'm just going to use the leftover straws and I'm just going to cut pieces. And then we are going to add that on top of that layer we already placed. And a little bit of hot glue goes a long way. So just add it very carefully. You can do that for your kiddos and they can just place it. And I think it'd be so much fun. And I'm going to do that until I like what I see. Once all the straws were attached, it's nice and sturdy and it's not going anywhere. Now I'm going to bring in the large blue pom-pom because it fits nicely with the size and color scheme. I'm going to add hot glue in the center and place it right there in the middle. So easy. If you have a smaller snowflake, of course use the smaller pom-poms. I'm going to take the ribbon, I'm just going to loop it and tie it in a knot, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the back. I want this one to be an ornament, but of course you don't have to. But I love the colors. I love how it turned out. Such an easy craft anyone can do, especially with your little ones. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with these from Dollar Tree. You can find them in very colorful. This is what I had from them. We are also going to use some popsicle sticks. These are from Dollar Tree. We're going to use a garland tie. You can find these at the Dollar Tree, even Walmart during the Christmas season. My hot glue, as well as a wire cutter. Some red paint. Whatever red paint you have is fine. A small paintbrush. And we're going to start painting. We're going to use 6 of these popsicle sticks. And we're going to paint them red. And I'm going to do the front as well as the back. Now, I forgot to cut these how I needed them before I painted. So what I want to have is I want to have several of them cut, and I'll show you here real quick what you should have. All right, so we want to have 5 half popsicle sticks cut, 3 full ones, and 2 fourths. So half cut and half. And then you just want to paint them again and do the front and the back. While those are drying, we're going to take the garland tie, and this is a 7-inch one, and I'm just going to cut about 1/3 off. Using wire cutters really help. The remaining, we're just going to fold kind of like in a V shape, and then we are going to hot glue the other part right there inside. You want to give it a little bit of a Christmas tree shape, so like a little triangle shape. Now the popsicle sticks are dry, we are going to join 3 of the full ones with a small portion, and we're just going to add it to the back with a little hot glue, just like that. And then we're going to take half, and then we are going to join them using 2 other halves. And this is what will be the top of what will be a farmhouse truck. I cannot wait for you to see how cute this looks. All right, so we have one on one side, and then we're going to add the other one on the other side. And then we're going to use this, and we're going to hot glue it to the bottom of the truck. And we're just going to add a little bit of glue on one end, and then a little bit of glue on the other end. And this is the back of the truck. Then we're going to take the remaining half, and we're going to cut it in half again. And this is what we're going to use to the bottom of the truck, and that way we are going to attach our buttons so that they look like tires. Look how cute that's looking. The bigger the tires, the better in my opinion. I didn't have anything bigger than these in the black tone, but I think they look adorable. And then we want to add the Christmas tree to the bed of the truck because, of course, it wouldn't be a farmhouse truck for Christmas if it didn't have that. So instead of hot gluing it upwards, we're just going to give it a little bit of a tilt. And then that's it. Now you can add string and make this an ornament, which I think would be so cute. Or you can leave it just like this, and I think it's adorable. I love that it's a farmhouse truck. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with one of these little ornaments with a snowman shape from Dollar Tree. They're $1.25, and I love that they're foam and so easy to work with. We're also going to start with a piece of poster board. It does not have to be big. And then this blue stock paper, which I think is gorgeous. We're going to have hot glue as well as double-sided tape. Although this is optional, you can use a glue stick, scissors, and we're going to start by folding the paper in half. We're going to create a greeting card so it does not matter what size, whatever size you want that. Now, we're going to start by putting some things inside because once we create the greeting card, it's going to be harder to put anything inside. So we're going to take this hole puncher in the shape of a snowflake, punch a few of them, and then we are going to hot glue them inside the greeting card. Again, this is where you would want to write a message, write whatever you want before you add anything to the front. I'm going to add the snowflakes here and there, leaving enough space for a nice message. Then we're going to close it up, and then we're going to start adding the front embellishments. We're going to cut off the poster board, and we're just going to kind of place it centered. And then we're going to wiggle it around, and we're going to create this like wiggly white shape because we're going to create a melting snowman greeting card. So once we have a trace, we're just going to cut it, and then we're going to use a double-sided tape, and we're going to attach it right in the center. We are now going to take the snowman, remove everything from it, and I mean everything, except for the hat, the nose, like the head area. We're going to remove the stick arms, the buttons, and we're going to nicely and carefully remove the rest of the body, leaving just the head. I like to cut and then keep cutting as needed so that I get exactly what I want. Then we're going to hot glue it right in the center. We're going to clean up the little stick arms, and then we're just going to hot glue them one to each side, kind of like they melted right off of him. And then we're going to add the buttons that were already there, and we're just going to put them in front of him just like that. Then we're going to adjust the scarf, and we're going to hot glue them, making sure that they're not going to be flapping around. This was by far one of the easiest crafts ever. And if you don't have a snowman ornament, you can also recreate these using your own items. But I think it's adorable. What a great little greeting card you can make. And anyone would love to receive this. I love the way it turned out. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I love crafting using these Dollar Tree mason jars. Start with some popsicle sticks. We're also going to use some green paint and brown paint. We're also going to use pom-poms in the green, red, and white. You can use these from Dollar Tree, but I do have the bigger bag from Amazon, which is way better. You can use Mod Podge or white glue for parts of this craft, but I'm going to use my hot glue. I'm also going to use yellow paper and my star-shaped puncher. I'm going to also use my scissors as well as a paintbrush, actually 2 paintbrushes. And we're going to start painting 5 of the popsicle sticks in the green and 1 of them in the brown tone. While that is drying, we're going to take the yellow paper and the star puncher, and we're just going to punch 1 star. I love these shape punchers. Once I got them on Amazon, let me tell you, it was a game changer. I love that you just punch it, and then right there it is at the bottom. So cool. They come in a pack of 6 with a circle, a snowflake, a flower, a heart, and a different type of flower. These are all great to have when you're crafting, especially with kiddos. So I do have it in my Amazon store, and it is linked in the description box below if you want to take a look. All right, now that the sticks are dry, we are going to start by shaping 3 of the sticks in the green in the shape of a triangle, and we're just going to hot glue it in place. This is why I use hot glue, because it is quicker and it dries quicker, but white glue would work well. You just have to let it harden. All right, then we're going to place the other 2 sticks kind of like starting at the top and then working their way down in the shape of like a V. And then we're going to take the brown one, and you can either snap it in half or use wire cutters or whatever you can to cut it in half. Then we're going to flip the tree over, and we're going to hot glue them to the back, just like that. And that will be the stem of what will be a Christmas tree. Then we're going to take the star, and we're just going to hot glue it to the top. And now we're going to start adding the pom-poms. This is what you can add, really any color pom-poms, or you can leave it just like it was. You can also add glitter, whatever you want. I'm just going to keep alternating the colors so they're nicely spread along the tree, and it's covered into what I like. You can add whatever else you want to it. The possibilities are endless. I think this craft is so adorable and so easy to make. Kids will love it. You're going to love making it with them. I would love to know what you think of this one down in the comments. We're going to start with 2 of these in a medium-sized one, I guess, a regular size and a small one. White paint, yellow paper, and some buttons, as well as green fabric, or you can use anything else like maybe a baby sock, a ribbon, googly eyes, scissors, a paintbrush, and the hot glue. We're going to start by painting the cans white. I am using Waverly Chalkman in the white, and it has great coverage, so I only did 1 coat, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. Then I'm going to set them aside in front of a fan so they can dry really quickly. Then once dry, we are going to join them together, and we're just going to use a little bit of hot glue on the small one, and we're just going to place it right on top, just like that. Now it's time to add the nice hat to what will be a snowman. So we're going to open up the green fabric, and we're just going to cut off a piece so that we can have it tall enough so that we can go around it as well as scrunch it at the top. We're going to start in the center, and then we're going to wrap it around using hot glue, just like that. Again, if you don't have fabric, you can use maybe like a sock, like a kid's sock would work really well. Once attached, we're going to take the ribbon. Now, I wanted the snowman to be colorful, but you can use any color combinations you want. I'm going to tie it and then just make a simple bow and cut off any excess fabric from the top. That's what it should look like. We're going to add the googly eyes. These are medium-sized ones. We're just going to add them, of course, to the top. Then we're going to add a carrot nose using the yellow paper. And then with the permanent marker, we are going to draw like little buttons or little dots so that we can give the snowman a nice smiley face. You can skip this part if you want, but I wanted to add the face. All right, so now we are going to add the buttons. I'm just going to pick colors that complement the little ribbon at the top of the hat. And then we're going to hot glue them in place, and that's it. What a fun way to use these cans. I love, love, love the way this one turned out. It's one of my favorites, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I have another video here for you with tons more of Dollar Tree DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have fun crafting.